All right. We're back. Well, time flies by when you are having fun. And hopefully during this time of the show, I will be announcing myself as the 2021 Baltimore Impact Award winner, but that's not the case. But I'll talk about that more once we get into our, what's going good or whatever the case is. So I'm your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my impactful panel with co-host Herb Lewis, the Big Bad Wolf.
Ow!
Willie A. Price speaks the truth.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. How's everybody tonight?
All right. Hopefully
Doing all right.
the ladies will be joining. Christine comes correct all the time. Brooks, the lovable Lakia Perry, Anetta Life Coach Williams, and the youngest in charge, Shaughnessy Andrews. Well, on our last broadcast, we discussed, does independent and strong lead to strong, lasting relationships? Well, you can guess the hang-ups with that, with the word strong and independent. So those type of words kind of get people going. So, but enough is enough about that. Tonight, we will be discussing, the trendy titles of what makes you a king or queen, and how much does title mean to you. For the sake of time, let's put our other talking points on the table before they get cold. Number two, so we didn't cover this last time, so we're gonna cover it. Have you ever ghosted someone or been ghosted, and what happened? Number three, what power or control does stepdads have as far as discipline in the households? Pretty much, people would say probably none. So we're going to talk about dissect that. And then number four, why can't male and females be platonic friends? So you see it, another thought provoking conversation that gets your temperature boiling on a Monday night. Please, 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 people like and share our video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Well, I was hoping the YouTube channel of the year, but everybody stay safe, and now we're here tonight. So quickly, guys, what's going on? What's new?
Nothing. Been a busy week. Monday got here quick. I'm glad to see y'all. Monday got here real quick.
Hey, Lakia.
The lovely Lakia Perry.
Good evening. I almost didn't make it. I was asleep.
That make two of us.
I set my alarm so I get up on time. Believe me, because Friday, Sunday, and Monday essentially are my weekend, so I dial it all the way back to I'm literally, especially in the winter time, doing bear activity, and I mean BEAR or BARE, however you want to look at it. So
one of them bears,
Kid, anything new with you? Anything good? Not so good.
No, everything's good. All is good. All is well. Just I'm still trying to wake up, but all is well.
That sound like a damn absolute if I never heard one. Everything is good.
All is well. I ain't listen. What? Why complain? Even though I really don't have anything to complain about. But no,
that's a
all
good
is well.
thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this. I was part of the Baltimore Impact Awards, so unfortunately I didn't get it. But it's always some stuff. I ain't complaining because I lost, but one of the things is if you're considered the YouTube channel of the year, you should at least have a YouTube channel that's up and running. So I find out later that the person who won, her channel been shut down for 2 weeks, a couple weeks, and got all types of people made all types of videos and recordings about some of her practices as the YouTube channel of the year. So wow. I just thought that was interesting. So I'm like, here we go, another one of them Baltimore City things, whatever, a little shadiness, a little home cooking, but it's all good. I'm still gonna keep pushing forward and doing my thing. But when you find out little things like that, and you're like, wow, like if they'd have did the thing the right way,
The
they
right
would
way,
say,
right?
yeah, you're not even
Yeah.
qualified right at this point. So, but whatever the case
Wow.
is, I'm still, you live and learn, and I'm still pushing forward.
Now, was her show active when she got nominated, or was active? It was shut down, but just before the awards.
I'm sure it was activated when she got nominated, but it's just some of the stuff that was posted regarding, like I said, some of her practices, and I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And so when they came up with the qualifications and they were talking about the YouTube channel of the year, they said, a channel that's impactful on some of on your content.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her greatest fame was supposedly an interview with regarding R. Kelly, and I'm like, okay, how does that really impact everybody on a consistent basis? That's
Right.
R. Kelly's situation.
Yeah.
So I'm, of course, I'm gonna give myself kudos and feel like the stuff we talk about is day-to-day stuff that happens. Like, either it's happening to you or somebody it happens to. So to me that's more impactful. But I'm not the judge of it. And like I said, shout out to all the winners last night, and I'll be back. This ain't the last y'all heard from me, so I'll be back.
How was the ceremony itself? How was it overall? The ceremony.
It was good. Nice turnout.
Okay.
It was okay. Whatever. I mean, it's only the second time they did it, so it's. I mean, I think I've seen improvements from. Was it 2019 when they had it? So it was all right.
Oh, that's cool.
Can't complain about that.
Decent turnout for a nice time.
And I just think the one thing is how the voting thing. You shouldn't have to vote for all categories. People shouldn't get free votes, whatever. So whoever you should be able to click on them and then get the hell out of there. You shouldn't have to be forced to just vote for people you don't know. So I think they need to correct that.
That wasn't too cool.
Yeah,
we saw you in your checkered red pants.
I had to come with the Leroy Brown look. Brown.
His Christmas outfit.
had to come with something different. See, that's the problem, Willie. You like to go to events and you dress like somebody, but like, damn, we got on the same outfit. That's not how I'm trying to come. I'm not trying to come like that.
You know what's funny you say that? There's two people that reminds me of. One, he's no longer a commentator for his respective sport, and that was hockey. And the gentleman's name is Don Cherry. And a lot of you guys probably don't know who he is. Don Cherry. He was a sports commentator for a hockey night in Canada, which airs on CBC. And if you don't know who he is or don't know what CBC is a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah, I get the channel because I live in Niagara Falls, New York, which is the border city, of course, for Niagara Falls, Ontario. And then, of course, Craig Sager, the basketball host from TNT. So, I mean, we live in a time, I suppose, where individuality isn't really celebrated. So when you see somebody dressing differently, they're either giving credit or they're ridiculed. Me personally, I like to dress in monochrome. I still wear my 5 and 7 button. You won't see me wear 2 or 3. Refuse to. My coats are they're either waist, if I'm wearing a double-breasted, and yes, I still wear double-breasted, or they're longer, they're about 3/4. That's something that you don't see anymore. You actually have to go look for those particular styles. Double-breasted suit coats are considered something of a passe. And if you look at the Dick Tracy era double-breasted, where they're up here, you really don't find those. So, I mean, they've kind of gone the way of the ascot, if you will. So, I mean, hey, I respect the style because I like to look different than everybody else, especially when I go up and go to a function. I don't want to look like anybody else. I want to dress like anybody else.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw a little different flavor on it. So
you definitely had a different flavor, bruh.
So the guy who did the thing, he seen me like, damn man, okay, bro, you coming through looking dapper, or whatever the case is. And, that's what I wanted to do. So they gonna remember me one way or the
Annetta
other.
with you. She matched you to match your outfit.
Yeah. How you doing, Annetta? How you doing?
Hi, Annetta.
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
What is going on?
Nothing.
Well, you up? You still up?
Yeah, like we went
You
deep
look
into
nice.
the
Where
show
you going,
by now.
Annetta? You got a hot day tonight?
I just came in.
You just can't just make us smile with your nice little outfit on there with that arm showing and everything.
Only you.
Got
Only you.
that little arm showing.
Yeah. Anything?
Stay focused. Come on. What's the topic?
I'm trying. You got to cover
right,
that arm up. Oh no, I mean, put on some sunglasses.
He's so silly.
Such shining bright.
Yeah, ready to jump in the topic? So here we go.
Sure, why not?
So again, what makes you a king or queen, and how much does titles mean to you?
If you don't keep that camera up top, Jesus Christmas. What is going on tonight? What's the topic on this show tonight? She died flashing breasts.
I was looking for a spoon. And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
The hell? Shoot, I might be on the wrong channel tonight.
Yeah. See, y'all driving Willie crazy with the skin. He can't take the skin.
She dip that camera down. My eyes start watering. Oh man, y'all better stop.
So sorry. I'm trying to stir my tea. I'm trying
Lord Jesus. It's a family show. Cover that stuff up.
I didn't know what I was
Keep
doing.
that camera up and put that pillow on. That's right. It's a family show.
I don't have one. My bad.
What's the topic?
I already said it. Y'all Willie too distracted by y'all skin.
Okay. Stay focused. Like she said, stay focused.
Like, damn. Y'all should have just wore a snowsuit on this motherfucker.
It's
Oh my
nighttime.
God. Come on.
All right.
Okay, come
I
on.
said, what makes you a king or queen, and how much does titles mean to you? Because me personally, all that king and queen stuff, it's getting played out now, man. It's just
everybody a queen, everybody a king.
Yeah, it's just like, come on now, it's like a pickup line.
Right. Thank you.
So it's okay. So let me explain something. So I had to do some evaluation in the past 5 weeks when I made the statement about being an alpha female.
Mm-hmm.
So after doing my evaluation, because I'm a self-reflective person, I'm always going to look at myself, why it happened, when it happened, what did I do to make it occur. So as I thought about it, I was like, I am not an alpha female. I'm just a responsible female.
There you go.
And I was just like thrown back because I always dig deeper what makes energy happen. And you know, electricity, the power of electricity in life is kind of match. So I was like, energy happens because what you project out, what you put out. So I was like, I gotta change the way I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm just responsible. I'm responsible for my credit. I'm responsible to have a mortgage. I'm responsible to work my career. So it's not about, being an alpha. That's just my responsibility. So
I said that last week on the show.
In saying that, that's my growth level of being on the show. In saying that, that king and queen don't do nothing for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it puts me right back in that same mindset of being
of a label, a title. Yeah.
Okay. And just having a title and overusage of the title. So, but I now look at it differently. Like, we're just being responsible. If you do anything extra, then you're just being a great human being.
There you go.
So I look at it different when people talk about that king and queen. Like, I don't get impressed when guys be like, hey, you want to be my queen?
Oh, whatever.
Get out of here, dude.
Where your castle at,
What
dude?
you talking about? We about to play spades? But that's just the way I think.
But I said that last week on the show too. I said that's one of the issues. You come up with all these titles, and you can just be who you are. It doesn't have to be a title. You don't have, and then there's no competition if there's no title. You're just two people in a relationship developing. But when you start, boss and alpha this, and so now all of a sudden it becomes a competition on who's going to have the higher title.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, just be yourself, like you said, your individual self, and be the best you can be in that relationship or with yourself. If you're not happy with yourself, I tell people all the time, if you're not happy with yourself, you can't make anybody else happy.
Correct.
And that's what, a lot of people, like I said last week, I said, people are talking about, I'm looking for somebody that's going to make me happy. No, you got to be happy with yourself.
Yeah.
Because that person could turn around and do one thing, and all of a sudden you're not happy again.
And another thing is, we want to say, am I a king or a queen? You got to think back. Go back years and years and years. Do we even represent ourselves as kings and queens?
Thank you.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Any of us even meet the qualifications?
Nope.
I think about stuff just my great-great-grandmother went through. Would I have been able to be a woman of silence and humbleness and gratefulness like her? If somebody would have been whooping my back or beating my husband, would I have been, you know what I'm saying? That I wouldn't have been that silent. I would have been dead. I wouldn't have made it day two. So when I think of king and queens, you talk about a level that none of us will ever reach until you until you've met the king.
Exactly. Now, one of the things that shout out to Donald Taylor, who participates in the Counselor's Corner. He said he doesn't think that us, I'm assuming talking about our Black history, even though with kings and queens, he said kings historically were not good people. Now, I haven't went that far. That's just not something I'm interested in doing research on. But he was like, I guess historically they weren't good people. So I don't know if anybody has anything.
Well, they couldn't be good people, though. If you look at the full term of what a king was, he was a ruler. He was a tyrant. And he had to rule. He had to be a tyrant and a ruler that didn't have any sympathy for anybody, or somebody who would knock him out of his position. Again, a title. You always had somebody competing, wanting to take over that title of the leader or the ruler. Just like you look at animals. You have that head lion, and then you have the other lions wanting to take over. There's always going to be somebody looking to take your place when you play in that role. But I had posted, I used to post stuff on my page a lot and got a lot of trouble about it. And one of the things I said about being, we give this label of queens to people, and people got upset with me because I said, doesn't a queen, Black people are the only people that can call a person a queen and they don't be married. And I got a lot of flack about that. But you think about it, we can just call people queen. You're queen, the queen this, queen that. But if you look at what a queen and a king was, a queen had a husband. She always a queen actually has a husband, or he doesn't marry. It may not be a king. It could be a duke, or they don't marry a prince. But but if you look at what that whole monarchy is, no single woman becomes a queen. And if she is single, she has to marry someone in order to stay in that monarchy.
Correct.
Even now, right. And so that's what I'm saying. If you look at the true understanding of what a queen and a king is in the definition, she always had a husband. And that's not what you find. And people got upset with me because I said blacks, normally in the Black community, that's the only place you normally find somebody calling someone a queen and they're not married. So you're not really, how are you a queen when you're not even living in the definition of what that title is?
And I think that might have been part of what Donna was getting at when he was talking about kings were mostly not good people. If you look
Right.
at the history of kings, I mean, because primarily monarchies only existed in Europe. I know there's some passing kings and queens in African history, but predominantly when we hear those terms, we associate kings and queens with the European monarchy. Personally,
Exactly.
I only use the terms king and queen when I play chess, and I haven't played chess in a very long time. But if we look at most of the rule, most of the way Europe was governed under the kingdoms, they made laws that were harsh. And I think that's part of what Donald was driving at. Rarely do you hear about a benevolent king, a
No,
king that actually led his people. Although there are some out there, you just don't hear about them.
right.
Now, I know I have this app that I play Jeopardy, and they're always asking about kings and queens. Personally, I can't keep up with them, and I think in order for me to do that, I'd actually have to sit down and read more into European history from I think like the 13th century all the way up until about the 18th century, which is when kings and kings were prevalent. Then you start to move into the czars if you're in Russia, and then into after the French Revolution, you start to move into more of their modern governance. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's in there when you talk about kings and queens. Just to put that out there.
Even when you think about the whole role of a king and a queen, what is the queen's role? The queen's role is actually to produce a bloodline.
Correct.
Continue the bloodline. That was her role, to make babies.
Yes.
That was her only thing she was really meant there to be for, was to sit next to the king and be available to make babies to keep the royal bloodline going.
Correct.
Well, all right, kings. I want these queens to get a chance
Come on,
to say
queen,
something.
speak up, Queen Shaughnessy.
You know me a little bit. I have to challenge that a bit for the fact that that's not necessarily true, that kings were all mean. There's plenty of kings that I can think of that was in the Bible that were not mean and tyrant. There's King David. Yeah, he wasn't perfect, but he was a king after God's own heart.
Yeah, he was a good dude, King David.
David was Joshua. God's own heart, not the people.
God's own heart. Yeah, I don't think I was talking about. I don't think it was talking about David Glover. I don't think it was talking about
David.
David.
I spoke on that yesterday. David was about to get murdered twice.
Hey, who knows? I might got a hit on me. So, but
right.
Hey.
So David got.
And there was also king. There was plenty of kings, and as I've read in the Bible, that there were some that were tyrants, there were some that weren't, and there were plenty of queens. We have the Queen of England. She wasn't married at first when she became a queen.
Yes, she was.
Get married.
Yes, she wasn't at first. She was still appointed queen, but then
it was in her.
Then
in her
she
line.
got
You
married.
gotta look at the history. Her family. She was the next in line.
Right.
So
she was next in line.
Once she took the position, she had to get married.
But she was first appointed queen before she got married. Am I correct?
But that's what I said too. I said
okay. So, but let me finish.
I
didn't interrupt nobody. I didn't interrupt nobody.
To get married. Well, you
so
said is it correct?
She got married, but she was still able to be appointed. Okay.
Right. Well, yeah, because she was next in line.
It's still fact, though.
In order for her to keep
the fact
position, she had to get married.
The fact is let me just finish my point. Is that
you're gonna be right?
Because I am. I didn't say anything wrong. She was appointed queen before she became somebody's husband.
Wife.
Truth. And wife. Thank you. Truth. So again, there was Queen Sheba. Queen Sheba was the one that came with gifts and visited King Solomon. King Solomon was one of the wisest, which is wisest man in the world. He wasn't a tyrant. He actually was one that came to help bring understanding to the people. So when I think about, and I mean, well, you did give some good points about a queen, how that you just made the statement a bit ago about queens, but the one part I don't necessarily agree with the fact that they were just only created just to have babies. I don't know why I don't agree with that to the fullest of the degree. I'm not saying that some men didn't think that way of women, but that wasn't always the case either. So
What was wrong with it?
what the fact that we were just created to we became queens just so that we could have
Continue the
children,
royal
but we are
bloodline.
supposed to, because that's the only way you can. Basically, you can if you have two men together. That's not going to happen. So it's a necessity for it to happen, and it was created that way. We were created. He said he created he them, male and female, for and he created a help me. So we'll go into all that later. But what I'm striving to say is, and because if he had all that he needed, he wouldn't need help. But anyway, Queen Sheba came bearing gifts, and she was a woman. And as I was researching, I don't see anywhere in history where they shared that she was married. So if somebody has some information on that, but I don't ever see in the history that she was ever married, but she was considered a queen of Sheba. So when I do hear men use the word, call themselves kings, I believe it's a way of trying to just giving respect to a man's position, a man being a king as far as a leader, being strong, having courage. When you think about, somebody mentioned lions. Lions is in the wilderness, but lions were like the king of the jungle. Lions had that respect.
See, for
And
me,
it's out of, huh?
I said for me, I know two kings and one queen. King Lou, your uncle,
And you know this.
King Lou,
Big
uh,
ups.
King James, LeBron, and Queen Latifah.
And big ups to
That's
them
all
as
I know.
well. But anyway, so what I'm striving to say is that, and then even when it comes to women, when I call myself a queen, I'm calling myself a queen not to be like, oh, I'm that, this, that. No, I'm calling myself a queen, and the fact that I am royalty. I am a royal of a royal priesthood. I am a king's kid. I am, and I'm talking about the Father which is in heaven. So I'm speaking to the woman inside that was created to be a queen. There is nothing wrong to me with striving to keep that encouragement to yourself or others to help build their esteem, self-esteem, let them see or encourage them for who they are, even with men. Now, do I always feel comfortable calling a man king? I don't. Some men are not, to me, quality kings.
Well,
But
that would
if
be the
that's
same thing as a woman. They're not quality
right,
queens.
so not everybody, but I'm just saying but if that's what they want to be called, sure, okay, I'll call you king if that's what you want to be called. If you feel like that's what you need to be called,
See, that
I'll
goes right
call
back
you
to what we
that.
said
But
earlier
I'm
about
just saying
titles.
that it's not. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying it or calling people that. And if you feel like you need to be called that, for you, you know what I mean. To help build other self-esteem, I just don't have a problem with it.
Let's get Queen Shaughnessy intake on
Queen
this.
Shaughnessy.
Okay, so look. First things first.
Uh-oh.
When I open my inbox or my DMs and it says "Good morning, Queen," it's just something about that just makes me itch. Like, please leave me alone. Just please stop talking to me immediately. Just immediately. Because I don't know why or where. Why do we throw these words around?
Titles.
Like, but no, it's not even about, like, I think I almost feel like it's kind of like it's used as a sense of endearment, or that's what it's trying to be used or pushed as. I know a lot of people just want to go off the fact like, oh, we were kings and queens before we were brought to America, et cetera, et cetera. And I get all of that. I get it. I just hate that now we throw around the term king and queen. Like, you can be a beautiful Black woman, you could be a beautiful white woman, you could be a beautiful Asian woman. Like, none of us are kings or queens. We're just not. We're just not. We're not. That's it. I don't know. I mean, I know I will every once in a while, like my daughter's obsessed with the Disney princesses. So every once in a while she'll call herself one of the Disney princesses, and that's completely fine. But and that's storytelling, make believe, but even then, you're not a princess, sweetheart. You still have to clean your room. You still have to eat your food. Exactly. So I just don't know why we throw around these kings. It's just, I don't know. It's weird to me. It makes me itch.
Titles.
And I guess it's supposed to be like a form of positivity when people are like, good morning, kings and queens and all that stuff. But I just think also you always got to consider the source who's saying it. Like,
and it's mostly the men that don't go to work, that be home all morning, that be in your inbox at like 9 a.m. Like, good morning, queen.
Like, you can't say that then call somebody, excuse my language, a bitch in one breath, and then it just doesn't go together.
And it's those men. It's those men that use queen the most in my eyes.
All right.
I don't know. That's all I have on that.
Yeah, it's a lineage thing, man. Honestly, you have to, first of all, you have to be born in the royalty, and that's what Lakia was talking about. Queen Elizabeth ascended to the throne upon her father's death, so she married during her reign. So I don't think any of us can trace our lineage, especially when we consider our lineage here. It would be extremely difficult for any of us to trace our lineage back to an actual sitting king and or queen. So, I mean, like I said, I only use the term when I play chess. Other than that, I'm not using it because first and foremost, I don't have any subjects. I may own some land, but I have nobody to work the land for me. I have nobody that's paying taxes to me. So by definition, I can't be a king.
Well, what's your overall take with titles, period? Because people get caught up on titles.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, even in the workplace and all that, people drop
I'm sorry, can I cut
titles
you off really quick?
Go ahead.
Do y'all notice Annetta over here in this corner sitting real extra pretty? I
thought
that's Queen Annetta.
I'm like at 10 o'clock. Like, where is you going?
It wasn't just me.
Where are you going, girl?
She's sitting there looking all royal.
Yeah.
Like royalty over there.
She would have blouse on purpose, whatever.
I want to say good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, gorgeous.
Queens.com, and it came in right on time.
I have company, guys.
See, it wasn't just me.
Okay.
It wasn't just me. I knew it. See, I knew it wasn't me the only one to notice that.
Good evening, gorgeous.
All right, we can get back. I just had to say that. I had to let that out. We see.
You mentioned about, if I can say something too, the Queen Elizabeth I was not married immediately, and she was attesting to getting married because she felt like she was married to the Kingdom of England. Just to say that. So, just let you know, doing my research here, and seriously, she seriously considered marrying twice.
All right, man. Come on.
Early in her reign. But she did not get married, and she was Queen Elizabeth #1, and she didn't get married right away, and she didn't have to. She chose not to.
Well, she did. She was supposed to.
She was born into royalty.
Right, she was born into the royalty.
But it didn't take away her queenship. But what was sad is that she had to marry, but she did not.
She's supposed to. Right, she went against. She went against what was supposed to be the royal line.
But she still had the title of queen.
But she still had
the title.
Right, she had the title because she was next in line for the position.
That's all.
When somebody dies, if like the king didn't have any more sons, and she was the next oldest, and then he had I think she had a younger brother or something. So something to that effect. But she was the next one in line. So the thing is, there's always going to be somebody that want to buck the rules or buck whatever is going on. But when Shaughnessy was saying earlier about how some people say, you know, we were kings and queens over in Africa, even with that, not everybody was a king and a queen. You had a king and a queen in Africa, but not everybody over there was walking around talking about, I'm a king, I'm a queen. No, you had a king and a queen.
There was some concubines.
And then you had everybody else, which is not a concubine is not a king and a queen either. So, but the thing is,
no, they're not. No, they're not.
So the thing is, you know, even when we say that, and I say that all the time, I said we were kings before we became slaves. But the thing was, I don't say everybody was a king. You know, there were kings there and there were queens there the same way. The king and the queen, it was normally they had to be married, there had to be a husband and wife for a king and a queen in Africa. But there were everybody else was the peasants, the servants, the slaves, whatever, over there. Everybody wasn't walking around calling each other king and queen because there was a line. There was a line of how the rule was, how the monarchy was. So everybody wasn't just walking around
Queen
like
Elizabeth married her cousin.
Huh?
Did y'all know Queen Elizabeth married her cousin?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
I don't want to be a queen, please.
Well, that's been history.
We not gonna talk about Queen
because again,
Elizabeth and all of them all night.
They were trying to keep it into a royal bloodline. You have a certain bloodline, and that's how royalty was supposed to go. You have to keep it in the bloodline. That's why when I said about the queen's role was to produce children, you know, that's what her role was. Even though she
what
was
are the quality of children once you are never mind.
But I understand, but she
there's
married her cousin.
There's no genetic issues.
But the thing is, the role was to keep the bloodline of the king and keep that going. So you have to have the queen's role was to produce children. Even though she was a queen, her major role was to produce children to carry on the royal bloodline.
All right, I got two things. Whatever. One, what Dietrich said. He said, actually, we're bigger than kings and queens. The Bible says we all are gods. Then he also said we are selective about good titles, but we embrace negative titles.
Huh?
Right, so we are selective about good titles, but we embrace negative titles.
Like, for example,
like being called BITCHs or NIGGAs or
I don't know who accept that.
I don't do that one.
Some people do.
Well, hold on. I'll just to respond to what Shaughnessy has said earlier. You are correct with where you were going with that question. The royal family almost destroyed itself because of interbreeding. They had to realize that because of the interbreeding, that they were passing on genetic traits at a higher rate than the general population because of that. Two, if you look at pop culture, especially Black pop culture, the using of bitch, boss bitch, and nigga is very prevalent. It's heavy in our music, not so much the literature, but definitely in television and cinema. So that's where that starts to get its proliferation from. Queen Latifah 30 years ago, asking the song, who you calling a bitch? Roundly criticized for that. I mean, we can go back. I mean, the rise of gangster rap really accelerated a lot of this. I know I was heavily into gangster rap, you know, when it came out, but I was into gangster rap more so for the voice that it gave inner city Black men. Because when NWA came out, nobody talked about police brutality.
Right.
It is what Dietrich said. We only focus on the negative things that our culture produces. And I've always asked this when I talk about Black culture. What are some of the positive things that Black culture has actually produced that actually remains at the forefront of what we need to be putting out there? Now, we often talk about Black male image. And I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today, and I was talking about this. What is considered a good Black man in this country that is actually pushed to the forefront. And shout out and acknowledgement to Dr. T.S. Johnson, who actually is always talking about, the sacred black masculine. And he does a segment on his weekly podcast. And if you're not on his friends list on Facebook, please add that gentleman. He's doing a yeoman's job. But he talks about that. But that's never talked about enough. We rarely hear the scholar talked about. We rarely, hear about the studious man talked about, the father that's out there doing his job, making sure that his kids and his family are provided for. Even if he isn't married, he's checking in on the mother of his children. I know we don't hear about that. We hear more so about the deadbeat dad or the situations that I talk about with myself. We hear more about that than we do anything else. So I think that's why the struggle of having that title or that label becomes so prevalent with us, because we don't hear about this in any other culture. Me personally, the only title I want to go by is uncle, brother, and Mr., because those are the only 3 titles that I have a right to claim. Anything else I have not earned.
But that's what I was saying earlier. That by calling myself queen and other women queen is because to uplift and let them know that they are of a royal priesthood. Just to be an encourager. I didn't see any problem with that.
You can't encourage.
I get what you're saying too, but they don't just be in your inbox saying queen. They good morning, beautiful, gorgeous, all of that.
Oh yeah, it's all of that. It's really the good morning queen that make me itch, and I'd be like, or you know what else? I'm sorry. That and Grand Rising. I don't know.
Grand Rising?
Yeah.
Oh my God, go away.
Yeah, stop all that. You say good morning, like Grand Rising, King, like shut the fuck up and just say
I'm not in. I'll be the first to say I'm not in anybody's inboxes, text messages, or doing anything like that unless we have that kind of report, and that's few and far between. Very few, very far between.
What you say, Queen Annetta?
That's how we should address each other.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to say it in a positive way.
I agreed with you. Thank you.
I'm not that girl.
Okay. All right. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I'm along with all that grand rising. The good morning beautiful is becoming corny.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
Beautiful. One day I'm gonna say I'm having a hell of a day, ugly.
Just tell the truth.
Even and it's not even on that level, but I think we just the overusage of words that people say, even like this bruh, like kids in school, they'll call a woman bruh. Like, listen, that's a woman you talking to. Like, you can't use that for everybody. Initially, it was for man to man or boy to boy, but now you got bruh. Like, they call everybody that. That's not everybody. Like, I just say stuff, whatever. People just say stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, it's a crazy time in which we live, but hey, what do you do?
Anybody want to tackle Cindy Boyd's comment?
What's Cindy Boyd saying? A good black man is someone who isn't out here dealing with multiple women.
Well, that's true, Lucinda. That is a good man, and it is
hold
hard
on.
to call.
But you know what?
Hold on.
A good black man. Again with a title.
Hold on. One moment.
What's a good black man?
Hold on. One moment. Let me read the comments so people who don't see it can understand what's being said.
I don't see
Why don't you put it up there, David?
Because it won't fit.
It's going to cover everything.
Yeah, it won't fit. So I'll read it. A good black man is someone who isn't out here dealing with multiple women. A man who is not always degrading women. A man who works, who does not try to get over on women. A man who respects all women, not just the women he likes. A good man seeks God and not the public.
That is so one-sided. I agree.
Thank you.
It's so one-sided.
Thank you.
What's
I'm a good man. That's a good man. You ain't good if you do one of them wrong.
Okay, so what you have to what to do is that's her view, but that's going to be a woman's view because that's speaking from probably the area of what she's desiring.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I see posts like this, to me, it's always what somebody is stamping as what they desire, versus because we women, we don't know what y'all men want. You know what I'm saying? We don't know until y'all tell us. So,
And I can guarantee you, she say every day, ain't no good black men out there.
Nah, she don't.
That's always the follow up to a good black man is gonna do XYZ, but then ain't no good black men out there.
Pay my
bills, do all that in that list. Because just like I said, everybody talking about they want somebody gonna make them happy, but then as soon as they do one thing wrong, they ain't happy no more. He ain't no good man because he ain't making.
That goes both ways too, though. That
exactly.
Goes,
it
even
does.
with women, we feel that too. Like, soon as we do one thing wrong, we're cut off. We don't get no more text backs, and
because you put a title on that person, or you put a standard on that person, and once you start doing that, I want somebody gonna make me happy. And so the first thing they do that don't make you happy, now you ain't no good no more. See, once you start putting standards and titles and labels and all these things on people, now all of a sudden, now they got to live up to something. Why not just be in a relationship and be happy with yourself first? And
because this is true, though.
And get to know each other, huh?
This is true. What she's saying, there are people out here, men and women, that are not being good, not doing good, because the worst is do good. And not in dealing with multiple men or multiple women, and not working or being lazy. Isn't that what some of the complaints are that men have as well? What they feel or consider a good woman. So it goes both ways.
Again, that's the title. And the longer you make the list, if you said, I want a good man, and left it at that, and then there's no list, there's no title, there's nothing to live up to. But when you start making a list, nobody's going to fill everything in that list. They may do one thing that's not in that list. Now all of a sudden they're not a good man because she done gave a description of what her idea of a good man is. And the longer you make that list, the more likely that person, no matter who you meet, is not going to be able to live up to all the things on that list.
But I believe hold on.
Let me bring in Dr. Goodbar. He hasn't been in a while. What's going on, brother?
You
got the nice little brim on.
I want to come off and show that I've joined the Hat Club.
Oh, yeah.
David and Herb. I want to cold.
All right.
And clean, David and Herb. What's going on? Hey, by the way, quick plug. I'm trying to recruit Herb over to my channel so we can have like a little political current events podcast. Herb knows a lot about the political system, and he ran for office, and Herb is like a untapped resource in my opinion. He's like this breadth of knowledge, and I'm trying to recruit him. So look for me and Herb to kind of look for me to borrow him from you guys. Okay. On another night so we can talk.
You ran for Herb?
I ran for city council in 2011, the school board in 2014, 15, and 17. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, he's an untapped resource. Y'all take him for granted over here. Look at Lakia.
What? I'm actually responding to a text, and I actually ran for city council too. So, but I'm not trying to come on no more shows. I'm sorry. I'm just so good.
Lakia, you're gonna be famous. All right.
I'm already famous according to you.
Yes, you are. You on the BGS list. Yeah. So what I would add to this very good discussion is that someone just mentioned Queen Latifah, and I do recall that the late 80s, 90s, early hip hop started weaving a lot of that in. Descendants of kings and queens, and I think that very much became part of our, just part of our consciousness at that time. But I think titles, words matter, imaging matters, messaging matters, and there are expectations with titles. Mm-hmm. And for example, I'm visiting my dad right now. It's cold out here in Albany. Me and my dad had a back and forth when I earned my PhD. my dad had some kind of fixation with the doctor title. And my dad told me, I wouldn't tell people you're a doctor when you first meet them, because especially the women, because they're going to expect you to have money. They're going to expect you to drive a certain kind of car. People are going to have expectations with that title, doctor. So we have a fixation with titles in our society. And I think that.
Have y'all ever worked with doctors?
Well, hold on.
No, the ideology is that they have a lot of money. That's what.
No,
right.
I get that. I'm just talking about outside of the money part. If we leave the money part out, if you guys ever, and Anetta, you probably know this. I will never.
I work with a bunch over 47.
I will never discredit their education, their time, their dedication. But baby, if you don't stop banging my fax machine, like it's the simplest task on earth that they cannot grasp. Yeah. So I don't know who these people are that think because you have the title of doctor, all of a sudden they expect
genius.
Well, there's power that comes with titles. I mean, it's still
absolutely.
I earned my doctorate in 2005. It's based upon who I am and where I come from. It's still not natural for me to introduce myself as doctor.
You should.
But you see people who, as soon as they get it, they're walking around. I'm Dr. So and so. I'm Dr. So and so. So and so. And I think that the king and queen thing is kind of similar. And my only ask is, if you're gonna claim royalty, behave that way. There are people who are touting that, and I'm a queen, and I'm this, I'm that, and they're the most ratchet, person in the lounge. So just I would say just be mindful of calling yourself that, and maybe you shouldn't call yourself that if you're not from a royal bloodline.
Well, can I mention this? My daughter got her Ancestry.com back. She paid for it, and it shared where she came from. In Wales, 7%. So you never know where I came from, okay?
No.
Sound like cat.
From Wales, okay, 7%. I might be more
from a slave. If you descended from slavery, you definitely have some Wales, some Irish, some Polish.
It was Irish.
And I had to tell
you got something in your bloodline that's not Africa.
I had to tell a coworker of mine that the other day because he told me he was 8% Nigerian, and I wanted to backhand slap him. And I said, "So your great granddaddy raped a slave, is what you're saying?"
Thank you.
Pretty much.
Like, get out of my face, please. Thank you.
That's what it is. That's all it is. We all got something in our bloodline that we came descended from slavery.
Well, no, she was not 47% Nigerian. And we do have Irish because my 5th great grandfather was an Irish a slave owner.
I was gonna ask you that, Lakia, like, were you part Irish?
Yes, sir, I am. I am of the luck of the Irish. Yes.
I thought so.
What does that mean, baby? What does that mean? What are you trying to be funny about? That's all good.
Hold on. Anita, how you doing?
Hi.
What's going on, Queen?
Hi, how are you guys?
What's in your bloodline, Anita? Whiskey?
Armenian, Czechoslovakian, and Dutch.
Did you say Armenians? That means you related to the Kardashians.
Possibly, yes. And I just learned today that my pappy on my mom's side was born in Czechoslovakia, and we have family over there still.
Cool.
I mean, of course, we have family in Armenia too, because that's where my dad's father was born, and my dad is from Germany. That's where he was born. And yeah, interesting stuff. But I would say, as far as calling each other king and queen, I think it's a term of endearment, really. I would say kings aren't necessarily have a relatedness of being good guys.
They can't be. Most of the time, you can't be a good king. Because you saw if you were seen as a good king, somebody was trying to knock you off because they weren't considering you to be strong enough,
Powerful.
enough. Exactly.
Yeah.
There was always
But,
somebody trying to knock off the weak king. And if you were considered as a nice king or a nice guy and not treacherous and ruling with an iron fist, you were somebody that everybody was coming after to take over your position.
But nowadays, me not being Black, I don't see it any kind of way when like Black women refer themselves as queens or Black men want to, be called a king and whatnot. To me, I would say if you called me a queen, like David did, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. To me, I would hear it as a term of endearment and like, not so much like I'm high and mighty and I'm royalty. Not nothing like that.
All right.
That's just my perception
Well,
of it.
we've been on this king
Huh?
and queen for a minute.
You're very perceptive tonight.
I am. I had a good dinner. See?
I could tell. What you have? What's that?
What's that?
Popeyes? What's that? Popeyes chicken?
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Willie, no,
I
hey,
mean,
Willie.
I'm not too good to eat Popeye's chicken. Okay.
Willie.
I love Popeyes. Yeah.
Willie.
Microwave, bacon, all up to 45 seconds.
Willie, don't sleep.
Yes,
Popeyes
sir.
got the bomb macaroni and cheese.
Oh, I love Popeyes. They have what?
Yeah. You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think it. Where the macaroni and cheese is nice and creamy.
Really?
And it's
I don't
very
like macaroni and
succulent,
cheese.
and it's very, very good.
I don't like
I
macaroni.
like
I don't eat
their
macaroni
red
and
beans
cheese
and
at all.
rice. That's what I get. Red beans and rice.
Can't be no
it's
damn
chili.
king if you don't eat macaroni and cheese.
I don't
man.
I don't eat macaroni and cheese. I don't like macaroni and cheese.
I ate
No.
at Chili's. I was eating some ribs.
I
Outside.
hate ribs.
Chili.
I don't like ribs. I don't like macaroni and cheese. I don't like red beans and rice.
What do you like? Green beans?
Popeye's chicken spicy and a
What
biscuit.
meat? White meat or dark meat?
I don't like white meat unless it's a wing. But legs and thighs, I'll get 2 thighs and a biscuit.
Legs and thighs.
Spicy. I like my thighs. Give me a thigh.
Yeah, kind of go along with the initial when we came on this show. You like that skin too, huh?
Oh yeah, nice and crispy.
Oh man.
All right. We're going to move on to the next subject because we didn't
Here we
cover it
go.
last week. Willie, have you ever ghosted someone?
Now I'm trying to understand. Now is when you say ghosted, what is that like? You disappear? You meet somebody and you just disappear on them?
It's like maybe you're having a conversation with them, so maybe we're getting to know each other, and on day 5, you're like, yeah, no, this is not for me. So instead of saying, yeah, I don't think we're too compatible, you're just like,
Who's got the thing going? Somebody turn the thing off.
I know it's Anita.
That's Lakia.
We all-
Got that
we-
going.
That is not me. Don't you? What?
Sorry,
No,
it's me. I'm
not
trying to
Anita.
get back.
We know
Yeah,
it was you. We knew it was you. But
Cut you.
That damn Lakia.
Cut you, nigga. You get cut.
So is that what it is? So like you just stop calling the person.
or stop responding.
Or it could be like you guys were talking for a couple months, and all of a sudden, he start calling and you don't respond. He start texting, you don't respond.
Because you met a new boo and now he's on a block list.
And then he reaching out, all the normal stuff that you guys would do, like FaceTime each other, whatever.
Okay.
That kind of cease. And then you don't get no communication. And then you at 7-Eleven and he like, hey.
And you bump into him
and he like, well, what happened? And you like, oh, nothing, just life changing.
I changed my number. Let me give you my new number.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever ghosted
That's so wrong.
I
So
don't think
hurtful.
I've ghosted anybody. But my stalker was doing that to me for 2.5 years. But that's different though, right? Because she would ghost me, and then she'd go back up. She would ghost me, then she'd come back 3-4 months later and then ghost me again.
What the hell is that?
That's just freaking crazy.
That's manic behavior.
That was just stalking. Okay,
yeah,
I don't think I've ever.
You didn't like the person and you didn't have no interest. When I ghost that guy, I ghost him because it was like I was trying to tolerate his mannerisms
and his narcissistic ways. No, just say it. Go ahead.
I couldn't stomach it anymore, and I knew I was going to see him over and over again outside of us just doing this little quick trying to get to know each other. So I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna see him. I don't want it to be a bad because I don't like having bad relationships. So I was like, how do I do this? So I'll just disconnect from him on all devices and his way of communicating with me, and I was just gone.
So you never told him why? So he would just reach out to you, and then you would just look at it and just go about your day.
I wouldn't ignore it. I just would let it go to voicemail because
some men don't get the hint.
That's rude.
They don't get the hints. They don't get the direct.
He should have got him because before I ghost him, he would ask me to go to certain places, and I was like, no, I'm busy. I gotta work. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So there was definitely some red flags, like, bro, you not even on the friend list anymore. You're getting removed now.
He just figured you were a very busy woman.
I am very busy, but I make time for what I want.
Exactly. I tell people that all the time. People make time for what they want. So you'll know if they really want to be bothered with you. Yeah, people say, well, I'm really busy. No, you make time for what you want to make time for. Because
relationship is an investment. Me personally, I'm not going to invest in anything that I'm not going to get a residual gain from. If I'm not going to get a continuous gain, why am I investing in it? So that's how I have to look at a relationship. I'm going to invest my heart, my love, the respect, the honor. Then I'm investing because I know I'm getting something back that's going to become an asset for me.
So the answer that have you ever been ghosted, and how did that make any of you feel?
I've never been ghosted.
I'm trying to think if I ever.
I thought I was ghosted before. I thought I was, and I felt
ghosted you, Shaughnessy.
Yeah, Shaughnessy. Who ghosted?
I did get ghosted. I got ghosted.
This guy ghosted you,
and it was recent. Yep. Oh my God, what made me forget?
Mine was recent enough too.
I ghost so much that I didn't pay attention. I got ghost.
Yeah, same with me, because I just was like, oh, okay, and I didn't pay attention to it. And then I was like, hold up. This person never ever responded to me and doesn't ever responded to me. And then randomly I decided to go through my DMs, and it was an Instagram like, can you send me your email? I'm deployed. I'm in Japan. And I was just like, oh.
So he didn't really ghost you. He didn't really. I was gonna say he didn't really ghost you.
I'm in Japan. And I was like, oh.
So he didn't really ghost you. Anita, turn that off. Whoever that is.
Get your life together.
That was not her. That was me.
Her.
Well, her, get your life together.
Hey,
Dr. Goodbye, you ever got ghosted or ghosted anyone?
Yeah, I got ghosted, and I was just thinking that's one of the more savage parts of the dating world now, and it's just you might like somebody, and then y'all just stop talking, and it's tough because when it happens and you're the person that's ghosted, you don't have any closure, so you don't know why y'all stop talking.
Right.
Now, oftentimes what happens is you bump into the person, or you might get the courage to say, yo, what's up? Well, I got to talking to my ex, my ex-boyfriend. We got back together. Or,
that is always my excuse.
So now we know Shaughnessy has a sneaky link. She done let her current boyfriend track her. And she uses a patented, blatantly lying excuse about getting back to her ex-boyfriend when she goes to somebody.
No.
We getting a bad image of you, young lady. I'm just saying.
I have not done this in a couple of years now.
Well, because you're in a quote unquote committed relationship.
Right, but before that, yes, the savagery did happen.
But I've been on both sides. Unfortunately, sometimes you do lose interest for whatever reason. Maybe you're just lukewarm on the person, and you just, I don't know. But the closure helps. It helps to know if we're going to stop talking. It helps to know why.
Right.
When that happens, you don't always know why. So you're kind of scratching your head like, what happened? I thought we were having a good time.
Exactly.
I got ghosted. I got ghosted by NY at the salsa dancing. You preferred the light skinned Puerto Rican salsa woman instead of me.
I don't know what this is all about.
That couldn't.
I don't know what she's talking about.
I'm a learner. I was a beginner.
What, a couple of years ago or something, Lakia? That was like
this past
5
summer.
years ago.
This was last summer. NY. Remember at Delaware North, they were doing the salsa dancing, and you came.
Weren't we doing like the
merengue
or something, or
the merengue? You know we were doing it. You know what we were doing. Puerto Rican woman.
What happened in the summer?
No, I'm not. I wasn't a good dancer. Not a good.
Y'all left early. I just hung out for a little bit longer. Y'all left earlier.
That was a joke, though.
This sounds like that 7-Eleven meetup that we were talking about, Anita.
That was a joke. When you was there, you ghosted me for the nice dancing Puerto Rican woman.
It's all in the hips, Lakia. It's all in the hips.
I got hips now. I can move my hips. I just didn't. I had to learn how to follow.
Yeah, it's all in the follow through too.
That's the problem.
Well, we ain't touching that, Willie. We just gonna let that go on by.
Always want to be a leader, not a follower.
I'm working on it.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I just want to be leaders.
So let me ask y'all this. So if you are someone who potentially got ghosted, is there a certain time frame you're like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to this person a couple more times, and if I don't hear from them, that's it, or whatever the case is?
I just thought about it.
I've gotten ghosted, and I've ghosted. There's people.
I think it depends on the relationship.
I didn't realize that I recently got ghosted until y'all just brought it up. That this person
I just realized it too. Yeah.
When y'all talk about,
I'm
like, yo, wait a minute, he did ghost me.
That's what we do at Counselor's Corner.
That's the thing. I'm finding out that some men, I'm not saying all, I never say all. Some men don't like when you do background checks on them.
Oh.
And some men don't like.
So do you tell them that you do the background checks on them?
Of course she does.
Well, I start asking certain questions, okay? Mm-hmm. And when I ask certain questions and they don't line up to my background check, then I'm looking like,
got you.
So okay. Are you sure?
Understood.
Sure? Like, so where were you living when you was doing that? I start asking questions, and if it don't line up, I pay for this background check. If it don't line up, then
you do an actual background check?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Y'all want people eggshells.
If I'm that skeptical about a person, then I'm not even fooling with them. If I have that much,
a person, it's just people in general. You never know.
I did background checks on new females that want to kind of hang out with our core group or whatever.
Really?
I do background checks.
I will, and
I'm invested in me, so I'm
male and female.
It's right around me.
If I don't feel comfortable around you, I don't need to do a background check.
But it's not the fact of just.
It's not a comfortability thing.
I would tell y'all.
I'm just saying for me,
because people can tell you I got a such and such credit score. You could tell if people got a good credit score. Okay.
I got an 8. I got an 8 credit score. Would you background check me?
I just got a new credit card. Does that mean I have good credit score?
I probably did background check on you now.
I don't need it.
I got an 8. My score is 8. So would you run a background check on me?
I'm just saying, I think everyone needs it. Men even need to do that. You know, I'm first the females to say, be honest. You got a lot of females out here that be like, I'm not gonna date him unless he got a such and such credit score. He gotta have this type of car. And they don't even have it. They live it up in the project.
Thank you.
So I think that you should everybody should do a background check.
And please believe, if you leave me in your car by myself, I'm looking at your registration to see who name your car is in.
So you're going through the glove compartment.
Glove box, yep.
Yep.
God damn, man.
That's why
I can't even run in the store. I can't even run in the store right quick.
Nope.
That's why I get out.
What you keep in your glove box? Like if you keep some rubber gloves, duct tape, a 9mm in your glove box.
No, you didn't win in the damn
get out of your car.
You're taking that shit way too far. You didn't win in the damn
Hell, you right with Anita.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know what I keep in my glove box. I might keep some rubber gloves.
You didn't win in the trunk. You didn't win too damn far.
Duct tape.
And I have gloves in my glove box.
I do. I got rubber gloves in my glove box. You know.
Anita said she gonna keep that man when she get him.
Hey, I'm gonna.
I got a contractor garbage bag. Let's see, rubber gloves, contractor garbage bag, box cutter.
In your glove box?
Hold on. Go ahead.
I need easy access. In case something goes down, I need easy access.
A shovel, exactly. And a shovel, some tape, rope.
I mean, the shovel might be in the trunk in where the line like is. The tire iron is.
Yeah.
The tire thing.
I just want to make this public knowledge. My gloves that are in my glove box are for the gas pump and the gas pump only.
Yeah, right.
So you guys know I do that early.
Some of y'all checking prostates with that.
Well, hey, I'm gonna say this, and I gotta drop down, but the Google game is real too. I still remember the first time a woman told me she Googled. Look at Christine laughing. I remember the first time a woman told me she Googled me, and she was telling me stuff about my graduate thesis, and I was like, "You Google me?" It was a woman at my church, and I was like, "You Google me?" She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Why?" "Oh, I just want to find out about you. I just want to see what you were doing." And I was like,
"Are you all?"
But not everybody comes up on Google, do they?
I get Googled all the time.
Oh, I come up on Google.
My students told me they Googled me. I was like, really? It's like we knew you were somebody when we Googled you and you came up. I was like, oh, okay.
Google cross-reference Facebook 10 years ago posts.
Twitter, folks be looking up your Twitter. You know, oh, you just tweeted this, and it's like, how you know? Because I Googled you. I looked it up. It's on Google.
And if I interview you at any point under any capacity, I done look through your Facebook and your Instagram. I always do. Just because I just want to know, you know, on an interview, you put on a certain face. I just want to know what you do outside of work. And honestly, it's the ones that put on a certain face in an interview, and then I look on their Facebook and their Instagram, and they like partying wild, having fun. I'm like, oh yeah, I like her. At least I know she know how to behave in certain settings.
It's real scary out here, man.
Well, hey, that's what jobs do now too. They go and they look at your social media, see if how they want to hire you.
Hey, I will say this though, you know, in some instances it might save your life because you never know when an ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend is going to roll up on you and you're like, you know, and he's like, do you know about me? You know who I am? Why are you with him? And I'm like, well, who are you? She didn't tell me about you. She didn't tell you about me? It's like, nah. So, you know, I guess Christy, she's over there laughing. But stuff like that happens. That's why you got them shows on TV One like For My Man and Fatal Attraction, because people don't tell each other everybody else, and that they rekindling things with their old boo, and it gets messy. It's dangerous out here.
That is a dangerous game.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I gotta drop off. I had a free night, so I want to come up and participate. Oftentimes I'm just hanging out in the chat. So good job. Keep up the good work, everyone.
Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Please, thank you.
Have a good night, bro.
Good night. Until we meet again in Salsa.
Christine, how you
Hey,
doing,
Christina.
stranger?
I'm good. How's everybody?
Wonderful.
Wonderful now.
Seems like we ain't seen you since Thanksgiving.
That's not been that long.
I know. What's going on?
Oh, so I got ghosted before. I got ghosted a few times. I guess maybe I asked too many questions. That's what my sister says.
Well, what happened?
It depends on the nature of when you ask the questions and what questions you ask.
I mean, if I'm like meeting somebody the first time, I'm gonna casually ask some questions, or if somebody says, "Well, ask me anything you know." No, that's not how I normally operate, because in order to ask questions to get to know somebody, you got to ask the right questions. So anybody can say, "Do you have a black or white car?" And I'll say, "I have a black car." But if they don't say what kind of car, then I'm not going to if I don't volunteer the information, then you're not going to get that side of the story, right? You know what I'm saying?
You gotta ask
Right.
open-ended questions.
Right. But if I have to pry stuff out of you and ask you a million questions to get to what I really want to know, I don't like, that's uncomfortable to me. I feel like you can learn more about a person through casual conversation than you can asking a million questions. But so my sister says I ask a lot of questions. I do ask a lot of questions because sometimes I'm curious about this, that, the other thing, how you think, what your interests are, whatever. But if I don't ask certain questions, like, okay, so I met this guy and he was cool. We talked for a minute. We went out to dinner like 2 times. Then I never asked him, have you ever been accused of like sexual assault or rape or anything like that? And then I found out, like, I don't know both sides of the story. So I can't say it was, harsh or whatever.
What would make
Might have
you
been
ask
in
that
college.
question
Yeah,
unless
that's
you
what
did a
I'm thinking.
background check? Unless you did a background.
So
What would
basically,
make you ask that?
her
Well,
point was,
after I was like talking to him for a while and I wanted to know like more before I went on, yeah, I kind of did a background check, one of the free ones, and I saw that he was convicted of sexual assault or some kind of sex, whatever. But like, I can't say, he might have been 20 and she might have been 18 or 17 or whatever. I don't know, and I didn't ask him. I just was surprised by the information that I found, but he would have never initially volunteered that information. So yeah, he ghosted me because I was like, why didn't I just casually asked
So
him, like,
he ghosted you because you did check up on him?
well, because I asked him, I was like, hey, I thought we were cool, we were getting along very well. He had, it just seemed like a normal guy, but I guess Ted Bundy seemed like a normal guy too.
Ted Bundy.
He was very charismatic. He was like, we were both Leos and we got along great. Conversation was stimulating and, intelligent, stuff like that. And then, I was like, well, let me see if he's got anything on Google or online or whatever, to see if I need to continue this or, whatever. So I was like, hey, I thought we were cool. I'm very easygoing, laid back female. I'm easy to talk to. And why didn't you tell me about this? And he was like, I think you said because it was in his past, or it's none of my business. It's in his past, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then he just ghosted me. And then I contacted him again after like a year, a couple months or whatever. I just said, hey, how you doing? He's got his own construction company. Like, he's doing very well, but that just one thing, like, you couldn't, I don't know. I guess me knowing the person I am, and I feel like I'm not too judgmental about people. I try to have an open mind, and I was kind of I guess, thrown off or offended that he couldn't open up to me about that. But I guess sometimes it takes people more time than others to open up to somebody and be that straight up about some raw information like that. So I've ghosted people. I've ghosted guys too. I've ghosted female friends too. And I'm like, I just don't want to be your friend, girl.
I just want to address this comment. If I have to do all of that check-in registration, etc., you can't even get my number. Eve comes out in the wash, sis. Now, what I can say is I understand that concept, but again, if you're dating somebody, you don't know them and you don't know who they are. A person could present to you any which way they could. I actually just listened to a podcast of this lady who married this guy who was a wonderful father figure for her daughters, a wonderful quote unquote man, and her daughter went missing. When her daughter, and they were already married. Once her daughter, she met his family. His family was nice. Everything was cool on the surface. None of his aunts, cousins, brothers, none of that told him he was convicted of attempted rape and assault. Nobody told her that. Did she find out? Yeah, after her daughter was dead and missing.
Oh, I think I read about that.
I'm gonna check on you regardless.
Who is that with these with the kids in the background? I'm about to pull out this belt. I don't care what you guys say. You should whoop kids.
Christine and all the kids running around the house.
See, this is
at a play date, and I gotta go get them. So I gotta cut this short. Maybe I'll be back.
You got to play date.
This is why.
Let me move.
Yeah, what am I?
I'm about to pull
One of my
out this
babies
belt.
is on the play
This
date
is
right now.
this is why
My dog.
This is why I am a proponent of being an open book on dates.
Huh?
Two things. This is why I'm a proponent of being an open book on dates.
Now, what's
It accomplishes
an open book for you?
There's nothing that I am unwilling to discuss on a date. I've often laid out the fact that I almost took advantage of an intoxicated female. I've spoken publicly about.
Hold up.
You were here when
We have a Herbert.
You ain't the only one, probably. Don't feel ashamed about that. You ain't the only one.
I'm not. I've spoken about this publicly, David. You may not remember, but I said this has happened literally almost about 20 years ago. When I said I've always had a standing rule that if I didn't go anywhere with a female, in other words, if I didn't pick her up from my house and we didn't go out together, I was never going to take her home. Yeah. I had a female friend that I knew who was just falling down intoxicated, begged me to take her home. Against my better judgment, I did that. One thing led to another, and I almost took advantage of her while she was passed out drunk.
The so when you take her home, you took her to your house, you're saying?
No, took her home, to her house.
Oh, take her home. Okay.
I guess just the way you said it, Herb, is just
that's what
no.
I took her to my lair and I took
exactly.
Yeah, no. But this is why I'm a proponent of an open book, and what I discover is a lot of people, doesn't matter the gender, they haven't gotten comfortable with the things that they have done in life. So in order for them to actually even talk about things in that nature, they have to come to the recollection or the realization that they engage in that behavior. Doesn't necessarily make them a bad person, because when this happened with me, I didn't know how to handle it. I remember the night as clear as day. And I had a difficult time coming to grips with the fact that I did that, because I had always held myself to a higher standard of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And the individual that I had to seek solace in at that time, he was in jail. I went to visit him and I talked to him about it. And he said, you have to get beyond that. He said, because you aren't that type of person. Your track record shows that you aren't that type of person. He said, yes, we all do things that takes us off our track and our path. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not the type of person that we've set forth the example for, and that your path have shown you. Now, when I tell that to people, they look at me and they just say, "You did?" I said, "Yes." But I'm comfortable enough to talk about that because I've acknowledged the fact that I did it, and I'm not going back there. A lot of people, they it's almost like if you were somebody that's an Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, they don't want to backslide. So they don't put themselves in certain situations. That's one of the reasons why I've always had that rule, is because I never wanted to compromise my integrity and put myself in a position to where that could happen. So get comfortable with yourself. I don't care what you got to do, get comfortable with yourself. So when you go on dates, when you meet people, you're able to sit there and talk about those experiences. What that does is it humanizes you, and it lets people know that if they have any questions about things that you did in the past, you can sit right there and have that discussion with that individual, and it puts them at ease, because now that you've shown that you're willing to discuss things that are uncomfortable, they will ask themselves, well, how bad is this individual? If they're willing to open up to somebody that they don't know, they may judge them harshly, they may go tell somebody else about this particular thing. The only thing about it is they can't weaponize it against you because you've already sat there and discussed it with somebody you don't know. This is why a lot of people tend to confide in bartenders, because bartenders appear to be unjudgmental or non-judgmental. So like I said, when it comes to me and dating, I'm an open book. Now, if there's something I don't think is your business, I'll tell you. I'll tell you it's none of your business.
But tell them, Herb.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to add to that? The ghosting and all that stuff. Christine, you ain't never ghost nobody because you so nice.
Please, Christine probably be ghosting everybody.
No, she just threw little Debbie snack cakes at him.
Oh yeah, the zebra cakes. Yeah, she do.
I have ghosted.
See? I knew it. I knew it.
And I would do it again.
That Christine.
But I mean, look, this is my thing. So I have had a loaded gun put to my head before.
Oh,
I have had somebody pop out in a parking lot after hours, in the parking garage after hours. I will ghost your ass in a minute. I will ghost you. My safety is the most important thing. So if I have any indication that you will clown, I'm just gonna ghost you. Somebody be like, well, how'd they take breaking up? I don't know, girl. Twitter was down. I'll ghost you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Wow.
Sunshine, huh?
Wow.
With all that, yeah, I can understand. Anybody else got anything they want to add to that subject matter? We can move on.
Ghosting.
All right. Number 3. What power or control do stepdads have as far as discipline in the household? Stepdads
ladies.
won't respect. They won't respect.
Ladies.
And like I said on my little TikTok, little primo thing, not every guy or stepdad comes in the picture want to whoop the hell out your kids. But people tend to think, some females tend to think that's the thing, like, oh,
yeah,
ain't nobody touching my kids, ain't nobody disciplining my kids but me, whatever the case is. But
what's the definition of discipline? We have to start there.
Thank you.
That's a good start.
Well, no, let's start before that. Let's go even. I'm gonna start before that. First and foremost, there should be nobody on this earth outside of that child's parents putting their hands on that child. That's point blank, period. I don't care who you are, where you're from, how you get it, what you do, or how much you contribute to the household. You should not be putting your hands on another man's child. That's just it. For me personally, I don't even hit my children, so I'll be damned if another person does. That's just out of the question for me. But as far as discipline, we have to define discipline. If my 6-year-old is doing something and she is not supposed to do it, I expect that she's corrected. I mean, that's just it. I don't know what more or less could be said or would be said about that.
But that is a form of discipline. That's discipline means to correct in its purest form. And I think what a lot of people get conflated is the different forms and different levels of discipline. You can discipline verbally. You could discipline by taking away privileges. You could discipline by using physical correction.
You could discipline by adding chores. That was one of mine.
Or yes. So any of those forms, depending on the message that you want to send, is a form of discipline. Now,
that's a meeting of the minds too, though, because I would think just like, and I know that this doesn't happen at all times, but with me and my children's father, we've come to the agreement that we don't hit our children. We do not get along. We do not co-parent the best. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain: ain't nobody hitting our kids.
Well, let me ask you this question real quick, Shaughnessy.
Mm-hmm.
I have an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's been married 25, 26, some odd years. They have 3 kids.
Right.
He's walking down the street one day, and he has twin children. I'm not going to mention any names or anything. He ran out to the street, almost got hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled him in and gave him a good spanking. There's some times where the level of discipline used needs to meet a certain criteria, because sometimes if you don't discipline a child, you don't get a chance to. So if you see a child playing around an electrical socket and they take a pin or something, they stick it in there and they get electrocuted, you may not have another chance to discipline that child. So sometimes the force used will equal the offense committed. If they spill a glass of milk, I don't expect anybody to beat their child, slap them upside the head.
But you have some people that do.
Yes, that's why I said I don't expect.
I would.
If my child is putting a bobby pin in a socket in front of your face, I expect you to intervene. I do not expect you to in any way, shape, or form spank or hit my child.
Discipline.
That's not what I'm saying. Hold on. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if they do it and you don't see it, and that child is killed, you don't get a chance to discipline. So that's gone.
Here's the thing, and this is something that I learned in child psychology. You hitting a child, that does not correct the behavior.
Doesn't correct anything.
That creates fear, which is not healthy. You want respect from your child. You want understanding from your child. You want a relationship with your child. You don't want your child to fear you. You want your child to respect you. If my son commits a murder today or tomorrow, he's going to tell me first. He knows I won't be happy with him, but he respects me enough to tell me first, let me know, so we can deal with it appropriately.
What if he doesn't get the chance to tell you?
Life happens.
Can I interject a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Being a mother of 6, I have spanked my kid's tail and don't regret nan bit of it. And
you and me both.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. That's the word. I stick with that. And it also said let me finish. If you don't, then you basically killing your child when you don't discipline. But I'm not saying you abuse your child, but you definitely have to have a level of discipline and a level of and I used, and spanking was a choice when they were little, because you're training them. And I don't see my kids. Actually, I believe I have my kids know when mama gets, they know when they can go to a point with me, and they know when mama say, wait a minute, hold up. Then they know, okay, let me chill because my tone didn't change. They know, or I look a certain way, they know they've gone too far because I do allow my kids to have a level of where they can speak their piece. But is that something as I've gotten older, and it actually, my one daughter, I don't think I've ever spanked her because she's seen what happened with the other ones. She smartened up. It's like, listen, I ain't trying to go through what they went through, so I'm gonna do right. Even though I think I had to spank her the other, she's 17, so I ain't really spank her. I said, you the only one ain't getting no spanking. I'm spanking her butt, playing around with her, and it's just the truth. I'm not against disciplining my children, but when we're talking about my ex-husband was a stepfather to my two kids first. There was a level where I think sometimes he did go a little too far, to be honest, truth. But then there was a time where with my son, he was getting older and he said something that was real. I think it was just out of, his hormones getting through that age, that 15, that teenage, going into 16 stage. And he said something that kind of, I was even like, ooh, you about to get it? Because like to my ex-husband, he said it to him, and it like where you don't say that to a man. Because you don't say things to a man to disrespect him as a child that's taking care of you. You don't do that. And I was like, oh, I was like, woo. I knew that was going to cause a reaction from my ex-husband to him, but he didn't hit him. But he did pin him up against the door, but he didn't hit him. But
let me step in here for one moment, Lakia. Let me step in.
That's a lot different.
No. But what she's saying, and this is what's often not understood, is that template needs to be set early for boys, because once boys get of a certain age and they meet a boy, there may be no talking. And if that boy happens to hold on.
Established initially.
But what I'm saying is often nowadays with the rise of single parent homes, that's not taught because there is no male presence there to teach it. So if the first time that boy encounters that is when he's 15, 16 and he's out on the street, he may never get a chance to learn that lesson. And this is why we always talk about these type of things, because there are some things that boys need to be taught early so they don't have to learn that lesson later and it costs them dearly. I've spoken with kids, and I'm sorry, Lakia, I didn't mean to jump in like this. I've spoken with kids who at 12 years old have brandished a loaded firearm at school or on another kid. So trust me, these things are real that we talk about. Just because the average rank and file person doesn't encounter them does not mean they don't exist.
Yeah, so basically I was saying that you do have to establish a level of respect. And fear is the way, and we are as parents, we're very powerful. If you establish that in the beginning, because it's like it just amazes me. And sometimes I like say something to one of my kids, and they're like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Whoa, I got some power there," But that was because I established that early on in their childhood, and now as they're getting older, I'm like, "Listen, let me teach you how to talk to me now as an adult, as you are becoming an adult." So it's still keeping that respect, that love level, and letting, okay, you get to a point that I'm no longer disciplining you like that, but you're gonna respect me. You know what I mean? But because it has transitioned where we don't have to move like that way anymore. But in the beginning, I'm sorry, I will spank my child. I did.
But this is
I'm gonna do it, or you gonna do it. You gonna kill him on the street,
discussion that we're having,
or I'm gonna get him at home.
Is not what the topic is, though. You're talking about you disciplining your child. That's not.
I went into they started it, so I
father or stepmother disciplining your child. How is that?
Right, but what I spoke on,
what's the reception of that?
What I spoke on was, I'm not gonna let someone else discipline my children in a manner that I don't. So that's how we got on this subject. I don't hit my children, so my husband, my kid's father, I don't care who it is, they're not going to hit my children either at all.
Let me
And I understand what you're saying about fear and respect. And they do, and I don't want to get it misconstrued. Yes, I can tell. I do. Again, I do not beat my kids. If I tell my 6-year-old and my 11-year-old, if y'all don't sit down, I'm beat everybody butts. Everybody gonna scatter and sit down. My boyfriend always said, "Girl, you ain't beating shit," because I don't. Like I don't beat anybody.
Now, let me stop you right there, Shauna. You know what that is?
What?
That's called fear. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, the fear that you just might do it drives them to engage in the behavior that you want to accomplish. That's why when people say they don't rule by fear, I always question that. Because everybody, even adults, were governed by fear. We may not think so, but the leverage your employer holds over you compels you to do certain things. Because if that wasn't established, trust me, there will be a whole lot more anarchy in the workplace than what there is.
I can understand that because at 30, there's some things I ain't going. If I mess up in a certain way, I ain't going to tell my father because of his response.
And see, and one of the things is, and one of the things is, a lot of times people, they say, "Oh, I want my child to be able to open up and tell me everything." So they want this relationship, like best friend, buddy relationship with their children, where it don't permit them to say, "Listen, I'm not playing with you no longer." But when you're trying to be buddy with them, I think that's why we have a lot of disrespect or whatever the case is. So when you have a man enters the household and he's been, raised with structure and all that stuff, and his goal is really not to put his hand on your kids and all that stuff, but he see how things go. Oh, you and your children, buddy. Oh, they're 8 years old and get to go to bed at 11 o'clock. They running around like I'm not used to this. Like I it's hard to cope with this. Like, and
right. So you're saying is it at that point a stepfather is he? I guess is the question saying is that stepfather able to say, "Hey, let's create a schedule in this household"?
Yeah, would you be willing to listen to that and say, "Listen, we need to get him on the schedule, whatever, because this doesn't work for me." And someone may like, "Don't work for you. It's not about you. It's about me and my children, whatever."
And that's the person you don't want to be in a relationship with no kids.
For me, I just think it. I personally make it a point if I get to know or when I get to know somebody, especially with my boyfriend now, I spent a lot of time with him on the phone while he was with and around his kids, just to understand and hear that dynamic. And I'm pretty sure he was listening in the background too, because you can tell when somebody's kids run wild and rampant. And sometimes that's not a situation that you want to be a part of. There are certain friends or homegirls or stuff like that. I'm not going to their house and, "Oh, y'all want to go skating and bowling?" No. I do not. I don't want to go with you guys. Because that's just
badasses.
Exactly. Not going at all. It's just, but you have to be mindful of who you put yourself around in. I just feel like for those stepfathers, in a sense of, for the most part, there's always small little tweaks that people can come to the meaning of minds. For instance, I don't like the Mr. and Miss stuff. Like, especially when so for like my boyfriend's kids call me Miss Sean. My kids call my boyfriend his name. I just feel like with the putting the Mr. or Miss in front of it makes it so formal and not personal.
Respectful.
And that's not the
They can still be respectful without putting the Mr. or whatever in front of it.
They are very respectful without it, and it's just so impersonal. Like, I gotta call you Mr. Bobby, but when I need this Zyrtec at school and my mother at work, you bringing me Zyrtec. I gotta call you Mr. Bobby, but you just picked me up and took me to practice, and in my room and you and your kids playing Mortal Kombat with me, but I gotta call you Mr. Bobby. It just seems so. I don't know.
Your ass better not be talking to Bobby Brown.
Initially, in the relationship, you do want that Mr. and Mrs.
That respectable
to come off, right? But then if that person is someone after 6 months, a year, or whatever, that child see that person's going to be there.
Right,
then
right.
of course you can do
then
that.
it's kind of hard for them to change up the way what they're calling them, though.
I was just about to say
that definitely have to be a learned and accepted emotional behavior.
But
so kids don't just give in that quick because they always feel like they're doing an injustice to the other parent when they do that. So sometimes that dynamic is a little bit different. But I know, like, my kids are all grown. And my one friend that I stay in contact with, my kids call him Mr. whatever by his name. Right. And they always say that. But then my kids also call everyone Mr. and Mrs. So.
Right. Like my friends or something like that, they would definitely.
I don't like the uncle. That's your Uncle Rick.
That is good.
I would never do that.
I was like,
Uncle Bobby that you met in the hallway at 3 a.m, whatever. Like, why is Uncle Bobby coming out my mother room?
That's tacky.
I was calling my step grandfather uncle until I was like, no lie, 15. No lie.
Dog, Willie, just take the whole bag and just put it right in your mouth.
So going back to what Lakia said, because also I have 6 kids, and yes, I disciplined with spanking them or whatever, but that also established my expectations. Like when somebody came into my life, they weren't going to disrespect me by disrespecting them. So like with my older 3 kids, because I already had 3 kids, like I said, when I got with the younger 3 kids' father, and we were together for like 11 years, and he was allowed to discipline my kids, but we were like on the same page, and my kids understood that I gave him this authority, they understood it. So they understood to respect him, and that he had that same power as mama got, but
right.
In addition to that, like, so my kids, I mean, they hit a certain age, and they certainly were hit an age where they were stronger with me. That level of respect was established. Exactly. I've never had a problem with them. I've got grown kids, one almost hitting 40. My kids don't cuss in front of me. If they do, if they slip up, it's like, "Ooh, Mama, I'm sorry." They have that level of respect with me.
Absolutely. But yes, I agree that power thing. I think it's important for your partner to have the same power. So yes, definitely in my household, and I think that was a good term, and it's a better term. Do stepfathers have the same power in the household? So if my son gets caught doing something by my boyfriend and he says, give me the phone, I ain't gonna give him that phone. He has no choice.
Exactly. It's not getting ready to be, you ain't my daddy or not.
Now, they're quick to say that too.
No.
But now I would warn any man that there might, if you're in a relationship with a woman that has kids and you're not the father of them, one day you may hear that. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You gotta, you may have to have thick skin at some point. Because kids, I mean, they'll lash out at their biological at some point.
And I guess the thing
you
with
gotta
that
be
is,
the one to keep a level head and say, "Yeah, I might not be, but I step up in your behind."
That's why I ain't dating nobody with no young kids.
Like Steve Harvey said, "Then where your bitch ass daddy at?" Where he at?
That's why I ain't dating nobody with no young kids.
That don't have none at all.
No
because
young
just
kids.
Like I said, I know for a fact my kids are not going to be able to openly disrespect an adult, whether it's my partner or not, and their actual father hear about it and be okay with it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's a good point as well, because with my older 3 kids, it was never like their father was absent. He's always been a part of their life.
Right.
So,
Anetta, talk to us.
Netta.
Yeah.
We want to hear what you have to say on this topic.
There was some psychological theory behind this.
Whoever that company is got you disengaged tonight.
Distraction.
Okay. That's what I'm gonna do tonight.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh.
Who's the company? Can we know?
Ooh, Shaughnessy coming.
There's somebody missing from the panel.
Let me give you.
She's asking the question we all wonder. We all be nosy, no.
It's somebody missing from the panel. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Oh no, she.
No.
I ain't gonna say no. I know where she going.
You know we smarter than the average man now. You know
it's
we
not.
catch on quick.
I just want her computer screen to tap to full something just a little bit.
It wasn't me, and that it wasn't
Trust
me.
and believe I don't take pictures and post on Facebook who I'm dating.
But I just want your camera to fall, or like tilt a little bit.
Pan the room.
I told you this is the one part of my life.
Pan the room. We just want to see your decorating. Just pan the room.
Yeah.
Christina, you already see the decorations. Don't even try.
Ooh, that's funny.
Okay, so you want to know my viewpoint on the step parent thing? No one knows this, but I can't say step. My oldest is not my birth child. When his dad and I got married, he was like 6 months when we got married. So I've been in his life since day one. Okay, so I've always been considered the bonus mom.
Mm-hmm.
So with step parents, and I remember at the age of 9, I whooped him at Burger King on Bailey because he had did something that I felt like was hideous. And at the time, I didn't have any children. And his dad did not have a problem with it. He was like, well, you shouldn't have did that. That was, And for me, I feel like a step parent is like that, again, that extra bonus to you helping your child be grounded and rooted. You know what I'm saying? Does it always work smoothly? It goes instantly into that relationship? No. I believe that children and a stepfather, it takes more time for them to connect, because they have to let go of, I'm not making dad look bad. I'm not forgetting my dad. I'm not dissing my dad. And then it's the temperature of the relationship, period. We got to be honest. A lot of women get when they don't dog the baby daddy out till they do. So he got this bad, horrible image that the baby daddy is a deadbeat. So now he's working off of that image. So you feed out different vibes to these kids, and we act like we don't do it, and we do it. Okay, because we're nurturer, they get the first set of vibes from us. So I just feel like how the vibe and the health of the house is, that determines the balance of the relationship for our stepfather, stepmother, disciplining. But when it comes to that disciplinary area, unless it's something that's just so tremendously hideous, I could see the stepfather disciplining and the stepmother. But if it's something that can have a conversation and go back to that natural parent, then it needs to be that. Okay, because that natural parent at some point has to go back to the father, and it doesn't need to be a third-party conversation. So I believe at the end of the day, the natural, the biological parent should definitely have some full focal point on what's going on.
And also with that, no matter what it is, like, you should have that life space opportunity, even as the biological parent, that when you discipline, to have that time to say, you know why I did this, right? you know why this happened. Like a lot of times, people say, well, I don't owe my child no explanation or anything, but you should.
Oh, I
I don't
think you
got to
should
tell nobody
always
shit.
make sure they understand what was
Why
the
what
reason for
something
the
happened?
discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
kind of like
definitely
Annette said,
always had that conversation with the kids.
Yeah, I think it's vital just to have it. Like, this is why we at. This is why I'm not really talking to you or whatever the case is, because I'm disappointed or whatever the case is, so they can understand. And if they don't like that feeling, like, man, I really
Right, they feel
like
guilty,
dad
and
or mom is like, man, I'm not used to them. They're giving me the cold shoulder. It might cause them to reflect and say, damn, I don't like that feeling. Not from a mom or dad. So I need to get right with
and that's
that was
why
hurtful.
I don't spank, because I can get that response based off of just that conversation of, and how did you think that made me feel? So I sit here, I go to work all day, I come home, I cook, I clean, I get you everything you want. I do this, I do that. I'm at work, I have to be interrupted by your teacher calling me. How do you think that is that a good feeling? Like, how do you think that feels? Now the tears welling up. No, you weren't crying when you did it. And now you do have that feeling of guilt. You don't ever want to feel that way again. Just please go ahead. I can't, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. 2 minutes later, mom, can I apologize? Can we talk? And now you have that conversation. Is it fear? Maybe the way you explained it, Lakia, that kind of seems like it is maybe a fear thing too as well. But I do see it as a respect, because I respect you enough to know that you work hard for the things you buy me. You do discipline me at home. You do teach me to have manners. I can't go out in the street acting like this.
But I to share with you that respect is a level, fear is a level of just respect. Even like, it's not so much just, oh my gosh, it's just level, it's also meaning respect. But I'm gonna share this with you that I did change my disciplinary style when this woman I know, she was a foster mother and she had kids. When you're a foster mother, you can't put your hands on a foster kid.
Let me correct you on that. You're not supposed to.
Okay. So
I was gonna say, says who?
You're not supposed to put your hands on the kids. So this one young lady, she was just so, oh my goodness, she was a tough little girl, but the foster mother, we were at a church and the girl was just being real mouthy to the foster mother, and the foster mother was like, go sit down. She was just real calm. Go sit down. Just sit, just sit down. And the girl sat down. And I was like, I like that. So I started, that's when I said, okay, I'm going to put the belt away.
You don't think foster mom whooped that ass before?
I don't
know.
No,
they start to think you're crazy. I think they start to think that you are crazy.
I just think at the fact that she did, the way that she handled it at that point in time, I was intrigued by it, because I started saying to my kids, y'all not going to kill me with high blood pressure. No, you're not. Y'all not going to have me acting all crazy out here, where someone did try to call CPS on me. And I was like, wait a minute, no. Even though I'm not scared of going to jail for disciplining my kid. But I said, no, let me reevaluate. And so I did. And when I did that, I have then that's when the whoopings did start going lesser and lesser, because I was like, you know what? No, listen, I'm going to say this one time and I'm not saying it again. And then I had to follow through with what I would say. Okay, listen, do it one more time. I'm taking your phone. Do it one more time. I'm doing, whatever it was, the things that they liked doing, I took away. And when I did that, I didn't have to spank anymore. And then my blood pressure ain't high. I'm chilling. I ain't yelling. I ain't fussing. I ain't chasing nobody around the table. I'm like,
chasing around the table.
Go sit down. I and I started changing the way that I started disciplining. So truth also, it does work. when you learn how to start being that way and walking in your authority, it can work too. Without
Well,
whooping.
going
So I
back
do
to
agree.
something Herb said, because yeah, I disciplined my kids in various ways. Whooping them was one of them, but it wasn't like that was an automatic response every time they did
Right.
something wrong. It depended on the offense, and if they did something that endangered them or their
Yeah.
siblings, yes, that was an automatic whooping. There was no middle
Category
ground.
1.
Yes, absolutely. But if it wasn't that level of seriousness, then there was anything from a conversation to a punishment, taking away privileges, or okay, you got the dishes all week by yourself, don't bother nobody else, it's all you. So it was things like that. It wasn't just it wasn't an automatic response that any infraction you're getting ready to get a whooping. It was never that. And then going to what Annetta said, like and this was only with the older three, but their father remarried, so their stepmother also had that. I mean, they were respectful with everybody, with my younger three kids' dad, and with their stepmother. They were raised with respect, with our expectations, with my expectations, with their dad's expectations, and then the two of us were respectful of each other and our relationships. Being that we weren't with each other anymore. So I wasn't like, don't be letting that woman hit my kids and da-da-da.
Right.
I wasn't doing that to him. He wasn't doing that to me. Like, I don't want that man touching my kids. We just didn't do that.
So as we can see, it's a lot of different layers in this. And there's, like I always say, there's no cookie cutter approach for this, but the original question is like, how much power does stepdads have? And I think, and y'all know
The same
from
power as me.
just being a part of this, that even people come on and they say, "Oh, don't get with single mothers with kids and stuff, whatever." It's a big push for that and all that stuff. And I think as you get older, sometimes if that's your approach, you may be limiting yourself from a possibility of a nice woman. But as we see, it's a lot of people that they push that agenda. So that's why it's important to have these conversations.
Sometimes you can't say kids, because sometimes you might say you can't get with a woman that has young kids. Because I mean, think about it. It depends on how old you are, and depends on what you plan on doing in that relationship.
Your level of patience.
You don't think it's harder with older
exactly.
kids?
All those things, huh?
You don't think it's harder with older kids sometimes?
Older kids are basic. When you deal with older kids, they're basically doing their own thing. When you're with a person that has younger kids, you normally have to spend a lot of time with that person and that child, those children, or she's got to find a babysitter or something like that. You know what I mean? But normally she's got to have those kids with her. Whereas if you have teenagers or something like that, they're basically doing their own thing. They might be at a basketball game. They might be going over their friends' houses. So a lot of times when you two are together, it's you two together. So it's a little different. And you're not expected to discipline either. You know what I mean? Because they're at an older age where the mother is basically dealing with them. You're there with the mother. So for me, like I said, I would prefer not to date a person that has younger children, because one of my problems is dating people with younger kids. I always have the problem where the kids and I get along, and then me and the mother break up, and then I'm missing the kids and they missing me.
And then what happened to Uncle Willie? What happened to Uncle Willie? Where Uncle Willie go?
Attached to the kids, they've got attached to me, and then me and the mother not speaking, and then of course you can't be like, I just want to come see the kids, because they're not your kids. You know what I mean? So you don't really get attached to them. So that's one of the reasons why, for me, I try not to date a person with younger kids because I like kids and I get along with little kids because I work with them all the time and I'm doing things. When I'm with somebody that has younger kids, I automatically go into like workshop mode. And I'm working and teaching them how to do different things. And I'm doing activities with them that I would do with my kids in my program. And I would try things with them to see if it would work in my program. You know what I mean? So I'm like doing all these things with them, and the kids start to like me, and then me and the mother don't work out, and then I'm not
out of your life.
Exactly. And so for me, I prefer not to really date a person that has younger kids, for that reason, because I don't want to get attached to them and I don't want them to feel like I've abandoned them.
So,
I grew up in that situation where I didn't have a father until I was actually, stepfather. And I was like 11, 12 years old when I got a stepfather. So you imagine going from like 4 or 5 years old until 11. And then all of a sudden this person comes into the house. And you're like, first thing I used to always say, because I knew it would piss him off, I said, you ain't my daddy, because I knew that was going to get him.
That's what I said, didn't I?
You ain't my daddy. And it broke his heart because he tried so hard. But like I said, with me, he saw that I was always out hustling. I was out selling newspapers at a newsstand. I was washing cars. I was doing anything to make money. And he made me get in the car with him. I share this with my students when I do my programs. And he took me one day and put me in the car and he drove around to these houses and he was coming out counting his money and putting it on the seat in front of me. And I finally asked him, I said, where are you getting this money from? And he said, these houses that you see me coming out of, I buy them and people pay me to live in them. They pay me rent to live in them. And he became my best friend that day because now he knew that was going to get me. He knew that was going to get my attention because he always saw me leaving early in the morning on Saturday mornings, going to wash cars. I was always trying to make money. And so he knew that would get my attention. And he became my best friend. And he taught me how to buy real estate. And he died a year before I bought my first house. But I ended up buying 20 houses in the city of Buffalo. So, I mean, based on what he taught me.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important, too, for the children to establish their own relationship with this other parent that you're bringing in their household. Mm-hmm. If their relationship is strictly based on the children being the addendum or the other parent being an addendum, then that's where the problem will create itself. Versus the child having their own personal relationship with this person. With
the person, right.
So I wanted to play devil's advocate as far as that. When you said like people like the may not want to deal with younger kids compared to older kids. But what if you're a guy dealing with someone, a woman, and they got older kids, but that older kid becomes a bill? Like you're dealing with this woman and this kid, they're grown, but she's always, I got to pay my daughter or son's rent or this and that. And then sooner or later, it may fall on you like, I got to help her out.
Well, I'm gonna tell.
I don't ever feel that obligated.
David, that shouldn't have fall on you. Now,
nope.
If you and her are married and it falls on you, but that's an agreement.
It shouldn't fall on them then.
Even in a marriage,
yes, it should.
To you,
why?
And that's different.
Why wouldn't it?
If you
married to somebody, you marry a person and they got an older child, 30, 40 years old, and he late on his rent, you go, okay, well, I'm gonna go help John pay his rent.
Everything. Well, no. So there's always context to each and every single thing. Now, if I am married and I'll put it in my situation, my father is married.
Mm-hmm.
If I need $700 for these tires, his wife not gonna say nothing.
But she's not gonna give it to. It's not her role to give it to you.
Yes, it is. It's their role. That I'm their child.
He'll give it to you. It's not like he's going to her. It's not like he's going to her and saying, "I need to go give Shaughnessy $700. I need you to give $700."
It's their household. It's their money. They are one. And when you married him, I'm your child as well. So I need this. There has been times that I've called my stepmother directly and asked her for some because I knew I was out of favors from my father for the month. So
listen, I'm gonna be honest. When I was younger, my mom was married to my stepdad, and when I would call,
Oh,
I would
that
call
sounds
my
like
mom, and she'd be
manipulation.
like, "Well, I don't have it," so I call him. Hey, daddy, he'd be daddy then, stepdad. I need some money,
That's
and then he'll go back to my mama and be like, "The kid called me for somebody." I was like, "Really, dude? You ain't
So
gonna call her?"
it can work. It can go. It can be both ways. Whatever. Like some people, I don't deal with young kids, but then you got this grown ass person. You're like, damn. Every
are they
month is
bums?
something. It's something.
no.
It's something that
I
we
think
got
we're
to
thinking
do.
of like a
I've never
bum
felt that
child.
obligated to nobody's older kid.
I never
Well,
felt that
I
obligated to
think
nobody's kid.
in situations like that, if that step parent has been there for years, I don't think they look at it like this is your kid and I'm having to do for it. They look at that like this is our
Yeah,
kid.
that's different. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
But
different.
you coming into something and that's going on, I'm thinking you're gonna ghost them.
Yeah,
But
I'm
then
ghost the kid. I'm
I
a
was
ghost the
wait a minute,
kid
wait a minute. That's
anyways. I ain't gonna
interesting.
ghost the mama, but I'm a ghost
But
the kid.
that's funny though, because you like Will, you just said, "Oh no, I ain't doing nothing," but you just said there are times that you may do something because you're in this together in a relationship, not like off the jump. But I think I have like with my ex kids. I remember she didn't have a car to go to work, and I would let her use my car to go to work, and he would take me to work and pick me up, like different things. If I took on that responsibility because if we're talking about getting married, we're doing these things together. Your kids become my kids. My kids
That
become
bag
your
of chips
kids.
ain't done yet.
Now that's her turn. That's her. See, I muted mine. You see, I at least muted mine.
Y'all,
Now
I see what
that
happens.
grab
I know we
bag
need to
ain't
lick
good
my
yet.
snacks,
got
but
the munchies.
You
mute
still eat on
yourself,
that grab
please.
bag.
Okay.
Y'all ain't
I
have
went
dinner
with the
tonight.
funny. I went with the Funyuns. But I think it does come together. Even you should feel if you love me or if I put it on, if I love him, I love his children. And I don't have a problem if I have the ability to
Only
be a
if
help.
that was in a
I
perfect
would be.
world. Only if that was the perfect world. I
Young
love you. I
I've
love
done
your
young
it, so it's not
children
children.
like
are
it.
different. Young
Yeah.
children is different. Like I said, if it's young kids and I come into a relationship with a person, they have young kids, I'm gonna love them like I love their mother. I'm not gonna make them a separate, like them your kids or nothing like that. But that's again the reason why I don't date a person with young kids anymore, is because again I treat them like they're my child. I'll treat them like they're my children. I have a girl I
Well, you're
dated.
60 years old. You shouldn't be dating nobody got no little.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, when you're 60 years old, you're right. And that's what I said. If you're dating somebody 60 years old and they have I don't want to date somebody with young kids. Again, because again, I'm the kind of person I like to travel, like to do things. So I'm not trying to say, oh, she can't go because she don't have a babysitter, or you're not. No, But you got older kids, like I said, they 12, 13, 15, whatever years old. A lot of times they can watch themselves, or they can go over aunt's house or whatever, and it's not a big deal, a cousin's house or whatever, or they're in their 20s or whatever, and she'll be at their own house. But I'm not,
My dating circle is getting smaller and smaller.
Exactly.
One thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not dating a man with kids because I can say this now. I work with children, but outside of working with children, I don't want to deal with nobody else's kids.
Thank you.
Kids, I'm at a point in my life that I don't have to get up and worry about nobody eating breakfast, eating lunch. Do you got your books? Do you need this supply?
Yep.
Do you have
rush
lunch
home
money?
for nothing.
Let me you gotta get a new sweater. You need a new jacket. I get up, I go to work. Oh, do I want to eat today? Do I want to go to Cheesecake Factory? Do I want to cook? That's
And
me.
then you don't want to cook for little DJ. He's so cute. He's so handsome. He looks just like his daddy. He looks just
DJ
like
get ready
his
to get a Happy
daddy.
Meal
I'd
and
be
be
like,
happy.
DJ better call his mama and find out what his mama cooking for
I
DJ,
know that's right.
DJ and KJ. That is not gonna do it. And I do have my spurts where I'd be like, I'm just gonna cook for my whole family, my kids and my grandkids. But those are times that I designate. Those are times.
Right.
This is my house now. I got cream furniture when all my kids moved out.
Right.
Girl, go.
I remodeled my house, and then
Those are goals. Those are goals. Yeah,
There you go.
I mean, everything, even the magazine on the glass table is positioned a certain way all the time.
This is what we doing.
Never
We
moves,
still with dark
okay?
furniture.
I
Yep.
still got black leather. Black leather can
Yep.
wipe off. That's all you need.
I love it. Okay, dining room table have just my mail on it. Just it's something about now. Don't get me wrong. I
Girl,
have
my
a
kids mail
20-some-year-old
follow
child
me.
here, but this house is so big. You got your own space. You know what I'm saying? This is me. This all me. But I want to tell this funny story. So it was this guy like a couple years ago. I always had a crush on him. And so I wanted to go out to dinner with him. So we went out to dinner and everything like that. We knew each other for a long time. I ain't just bring no random guy back to my house. So he came back to my house to listen to jazz and we gonna smoke a cigar. We're chilling. So my son walks in through the back way. He goes, "Whoa, you ain't tell me your son. How's your son?" I was like, "He 18, he's home from school, he's in college." He like, "Yeah, we gonna have to change that." Y'all know I ain't never talked to him
They
again.
can't keep rolling up in here like they got a mountain to show.
Again.
What?
I seen cigar spot. He was like, "Hey, how you doing? What happened?" I said, "I told you what happened. You went a little too far." When you say, "Oh, we gonna have to change that," him having a key. Where you
Oh,
going?
no.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We've been talking.
What we changing? You paying the
All in
bills
10
now?
minutes.
Look, 4 weeks in the wind, and you gonna
Thank
say
you.
that?
Oh, hell no.
So
yeah, you're supposed to get rid of
you
that.
have to be very careful about who you are entering into your life because their approach on things, their parenting approach. When I finally listened to him and he sat in that cigar spot and said, "Yeah, I told my son at 18, either he gonna go to college or he gonna get out my house." You gave him no other options. What if he was not college material?
Thank you.
You gave him, and I said
He
that
was
to him.
out on the streets. That's what it was.
Would you dare want to date somebody who feel like that about young boys, and you got young boys? You have to be careful who you connected to.
I
Their
agree.
parenting goals may not be your parenting goals.
Yeah,
you know?
You people will show you how they are. All you do is sit back and pay attention. You don't have to say a word.
Exactly. And I tell people all the time, the difference about me is because I have 30, 33, 26. They're boys, you know, these grown men. These not boys. These are grown men. So when you dating their mom, they like, yo, like my son said, that's precious cargo. Like you know.
Girl,
so
all
you
6
gotta
of my
make sure
kids are
you
like
dating
that.
in that same vision. Because you don't want who you're in love with and your children going to
class. It won't
Right,
work.
exactly. You don't want that
because
class.
that's not going to be beneficial, or it's never going to work out for you.
It's just not going to work.
It's going to be side. No, it's not. It's going to be side taken. And any mother who have birthed children is automatically going to take the side of her children.
Absolutely.
A good mother
Going
to sacrifice her heart for her children. And that's just, and I know some men say, "Well, why are you doing that? They grown." It matters even now, whoever I date, gaining a relationship with my children, because I'm older. I've had breast cancer before. What if I get sick again? You need to have a good relationship with my kids so you guys can be able to speak in harmony of my well-being and advocate for me. But if y'all both going to wars, it's going to be a mess. So that's why healthy communication need to be brought up, and those roadblocks that's in building those relationships need to become more solidified. I've seen so many families that I've counseled that the stepmom didn't have a good relationship with the kids, the husband, father, and now everything is divided. His death is divided. His transition is divided. Everything is divided. Everything is divided because 9 out of 10, dad he ain't get to the point where he said, "You know what? Enough is enough. Everybody sit down at this dog."
Thank you.
Yeah.
Something has to cease. And as mothers, as nurturers, we have to stop because we got to be honest. We are the ones that are manning the household.
A lot of drama.
Mother's place is in the home.
Well, I wouldn't say all that.
No, you didn't just say that.
He trying to start something.
He just
7
want to
o'clock at
start
night,
some
and you
stuff.
trying to start something.
We doing good tonight.
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah, we haven't had no arguments.
Really,
like,
I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not
I
gonna
just
leave you out
gotta
there
throw
hang.
that out there.
But just because her place is in the home doesn't mean that's her only place.
Yeah, don't mean that's our only place.
It's my main place and my priority place.
Oh boy.
Well, I know.
Why she gotta have a place?
Because a man's place is outside the home.
She don't have to have a title, and she don't have to have a place.
Is he just outside the home at the tavern drinking with his friends, watching ladies, or is he outside the home working?
I will let you answer that question.
You might be doing both.
That's a trick question, Will. You're not supposed to answer it. You're supposed to let her answer it. Because ultimately the woman is going to make the decision of what kind of man she allows into her life.
You might be working on the ladies.
That's why I never answer those questions.
I'm not answering. You can rub your hand all you want.
No, I'm rubbing my hands because I have dry skin. Severely dry skin.
I thought you was
You gonna start a fire?
rubbing that chicken, rubbing that chicken in.
That's the only thing that really soothes them outside of, because I'm washing my hands so consistently that they just never really get a chance to stay moisturized between work and everything else. So yeah.
All right. So I don't want to hear about her rubbing his hands. I thought he was.
Y'all funny.
We got one more talking point, but we're not gonna cover it. I know we came on late. It's about to be midnight.
12 o'clock.
Yeah, so we're gonna give talking points and we'll pick this conversation back
I
up.
didn't realize it was so late.
I know y'all have me up late tonight.
So
I gotta get
who
up
wants
early.
to go first?
Say good night.
Talking point.
Where you been, Christina?
Closing point, I mean.
We missed you. Moving?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a lot of work.
Moving? Yeah, I'll be damned if I move again, boy. I am. That is just not for me. Not anymore.
I'm not moving either. I think I'm gonna stay a bachelor the rest of my life.
You ain't got no choice if you ain't trying to date nobody or meet new people.
I ain't trying to date nobody right now. Not until it get warm outside. Then I'm gonna start dating.
Oh,
you want to be a summer creep.
Yeah. He
I'm
looking
just
at them,
waiting for it to get warm. Once
them
it get warm, I'm
sundresses.
start
He looking at them
dating again. Right now, I'm
sundresses.
I'm working on some projects. I started my nonprofit. I just started a project with the city of Buffalo, doing some things, trying to help them do some things. I'm not doing them. Help city of Buffalo do some things. So I got some projects going on. So right now I'm just enjoying life and enjoying my Monday nights, hanging out with you guys. I really look forward to Monday nights with y'all. So that's how I know I'm gonna have a good week when I get on here with you guys and I get up and next thing I know is Monday again, because the week goes by so fast after I hang out with y'all. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, too fast.
I do.
But in a sense, a good thing, because I can't wait till the week over with these damn kids. But the stuff that I hear throughout the week, I'm like, I can't take it no more. I just laugh at them. Like, why you laughing? Yeah, this shit is so funny. Like, y'all crazy. The stuff that happens.
My mom is working in Akron at the I Promise School.
Oh yeah, with LeBron School.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
She's like, them kids is something to contend with.
Really?
Yeah. So I my hats off to you guys that work in schools. I had someone ask me to take a position at one of the schools, so I can get a certificate where I can work as a,
substitute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I was actually like a liaison, and after the woman shared with me what they do, I was like, no, I got enough to worry about right now.
Yeah.
I don't even need to see what they do.
I actually went and picked up the application. They asked me to do the same thing. I went and got the application.
I'm like, oh, I can't do
I'm like,
this.
I'm not doing this crap.
Nah.
Exactly.
I'll leave that to y'all. I can't do it.
I'll be done quit after the first day.
I'll probably be in jail because I spanked somebody's kid.
Hands on somebody's kid.
Took
him down in chokehold or something. I don't know. Put him in sleeper. Put him in
different
sleeper
now. Yeah. I subbed when I first came out of college. I subbed for like 2 years while I was working, and I loved it because, like I said, the kids were different back then. But these kids now, nah, I couldn't be a sub. I couldn't be a sub.
I remember my 4th grade teacher had a wooden paddle, and he did paddle some people.
Yeah, back then they could do stuff like that. You can't do that now.
Wooden paddles.
I got paddled before.
Oh yeah, I got paddled and all kind of stuff.
Bet you did.
I was some bad kids.
I think I got paddled.
I just got caught up
and
in
then
the
got a
crossfire
whooping when I got home.
I ain't gonna get into why I paddle. Let's just say I was being like Billy Badass.
Well, I don't know who this is. I'm gonna post this comment because they trying to come for somebody. They said black shirt is a hottie. Whoever the black guy, I guess it's Shaughnessy or Christine.
It's Willie.
It's Willie.
What? No, it's not. It's not hot enough outside yet. You can't talk to me.
Is that a girl?
Yeah, I guess it's a girl. It looked like a girl picture. Yeah.
It's a girl,
okay,
kid.
Willie.
She's saying black shirt.
Contact me when the temperature get up to 50, then we can talk. But if it ain't 50 degrees, we can't talk.
Listen, girlfriend. Listen, I'm gonna say girlfriend.
Willie
Listen,
picking him up.
Headshots are deceiving.
Such a hater, such a hater.
Headshots are deceiving, boo.
Such a hater, such a hater. I'm gonna show all this. That's right. Ain't no headshot here, baby. That's right. That's right. She said that black shirt. She saw it all. That's right. Such a hater, such a hater.
I took Willie's clothes and my headshots are deceiving.
Don't be trying to steal my closing remarks.
That was a good one. That was a good one, Lakia. That was a good one.
She snuck it in there. That's right. She snuck it in there.
I got you on that one.
Don't be trying to steal my closing remarks. What we doing? We closing out? What we doing? We closing out?
Yeah, we closing out.
I'm ready for the after party.
Herb, get that goddamn
no, we going over there. We going over to Nana's house. She look like she got the party over there. Okay.
Nana about to shut it down.
Nana don't want no extra.
Nana got her bling on.
Okay.
Her bling on.
Yeah, the lights is on. The lights is all dimmed and all that shit.
I know.
Yeah. The hell.
No, that's right.
Doing way too much. All right,
it's all dark over there. The lights is dim.
Midnight. We got glamour shots going on.
I'm gonna close out because I gotta get up. I gotta get up early in the morning.
Close it out, Willie.
I'm gonna start out with a closing. Like I said, I look forward to Mondays. Monday nights are like my day of just really setting my week off, and this gets me motivated to do the things that I do. And I look forward to talking to you guys and hearing about different opinions and different ideals.
Your cat is freaking me out. Like
he is. I try not to look at him when I'm talking.
He's so cute.
So again, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of this show. I think we had some great topics tonight. And in closing, headshots can be disputed. Be careful out there. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, thank you, brother. Who's next?
All right.
I'll go next. I just want to know how many people looked up the assignment that I posted or spoke about 2 weeks ago regarding memory cats. I'll ask that question, then I'll say, of course.
I was going to, But what happened was,
What was the
I told you when you
in the
gave me
gray
the
area.
doing it.
Godspeed. See you next time.
what was the assignment?
It was about why men, and it said something about men with cats are caring, and it was something along the lines of the cat is a delightful gift. Wait, no, that's not what I read. I read something about men that have cats are caring and they're like comforting, not comforting, but just like loving people.
their cats are caring and loving people.
No, the person is, the guy is. Is that right? Is that right, Herb?
I don't know what you read. Hey, I just passed up the assignment.
Oh, see, you ain't even know.
Why do you think I said it?
Well, she's asking you to confirm.
I don't need to confirm if she read it.
Didn't you read it? He's so loving and caring right now.
That.
It says men who love cats obviously appreciate the complexity. I can even say the word. The complexity of the feminine personality. I don't know about this one. And accepting the flexible nature of such men likely spills over into their human relationships. Because cats are sweet, standoffish, lazy, active, boring, and funny. But that's not what the first one I read. It's something else. It said something else.
There's several.
Not great qualities either.
No. Right?
I'm like a fine cognac and a good wine. I'm an acquired taste. I'm not for everyone. I'll tell you that now.
We already knew that a long time ago.
Okay. Make sure that's understood. Because sometimes we got to paint by number for some people.
No. Sometimes you don't have to browbeat. We already know.
All right.
Alrighty.
Who's next?
Sound like something's going on in it.
I don't know what be going on in this.
Who's next? Because Anita's still trying to get that sweet potato or whatever Herb had going on the other week.
Baked potato. Oh, Herb,
Baked potato.
Oh.
Munchies. This guy.
That is not what you're cooking.
You're right. I have some chicken in the oven. I got some tortilla shells. In about 15 minutes they'll be done. I'll be having me some wraps.
Herb, why you eat so late on Monday nights?
I work midnight, so my schedule's always messed up.
Oh.
So
this is normal for me. It's abnormal for everybody else. It's normal for me.
Yeah.
So your dinner at 12 o'clock at night?
I generally don't eat lunch until about 2 or 3.
So what time you go to bed?
I usually am sleeping about. I usually go to sleep about 5. So between 5 and 9:30, I sleep. Yeah.
And you go to
No. I'll come home and usually I'll go to sleep by 9. I'm back up at noon and then I go to sleep by 6. Back up by 10.
Okay. That sounds awful.
Anata, where did you get that shirt? I love that shirt.
Oh, everybody talking about that shirt that it got on.
I love because that's my favorite color.
www.queens.com. Queens.com.
Oh, okay. I'm on my phone. I can't see that. That's my favorite color.
I sell clothes, so this is one of my items.
You what? You sell clothes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay, I would like to see that. Okay.
It has she be having this stuff posted on her page.
She posted all
Do
the
you?
time.
I don't see that. I don't see that. I gotta get in. We gotta get in your. I gotta get in your algorithms. You know how that works with people.
Yeah.
I see some stuff, but I ain't never seen clothes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had a boutique before the pandemic started.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like was it an online boutique?
I didn't hear you.
Was it just online?
No, it was. I had a building. Mm-hmm. But
where was you? You was in Niagara Falls?
I'm in Buffalo.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, Utica, Maine.
Everybody sweating that shirt. Next. Go ahead, Christine.
So I've missed you guys. I do enjoy these Monday nights. They do something. They do something good for me. It's a chance to sit down and socialize and communicate and talk about interesting topics with, a variety of people, especially. Most of you are in my age range, and then some of you aren't, but you add something because it's always good to have a different perspective. But I really enjoy it. And what happened? I thought you were going to tell us what happened, or did I miss that part with the awards?
Yeah. You missed that part.
I missed it too.
So, well, I'll use that as my closing comment. So y'all can go ahead.
Anyway,
I'll go
that's all
next.
I have to say.
I'll go next if you're done, Christine.
I am.
Oh, I want to say I forget sometimes that this is like publicly live. So I want to say that the stuff I had said that I have in my car, I may or may not have it for purposes of or of not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's my disclosure.
Sound like you're a lifetime
He
killer.
was only joking about the shovel and the lime in the back of her trunk.
I mean, I might have other stuff in there too, like condoms, a blanket.
We know one thing. Shaughnessy said, if you go into the store, she going through your glove compartment.
Oh.
What I said was, I have to know if I first start dating you. Sometimes you want to just make sure what you're being told is what you're being told, and stories add up. That's all.
Yeah, check but verify.
And I'm not saying I'm going through your glove compartment because I don't care about none of the other stuff. I just want to see the registration.
I care about everything else in there.
Y'all are awful, Snoops.
I'll close up and say this. Men need to be, and women, but if you're not ready to date somebody who is confident, don't let certain things trigger. So lately, men have been
Shadow.
The cat.
The cat.
Shadow, the
cat. Jesus.
Triggered by certain things. So if you say, well, I have options, but I decided to talk to you. You can't feel like that was a put down. He or she is letting you know that.
That's a compliment if you think about it.
Exactly. But when somebody get offended, be like, I don't want to hear about no options. Or if you do investigation on someone and they don't like it or whatever, you can't get upset about that. At the end of the day, everyone has to safeguard themselves. Safeguard you.
All right.
That's my advice. Investigate. You can pay for it too. Starts from $89 down to $29.
Well, she putting out the investigation prices on y'all asses.
And criminals are charismatic, so you never know who you might be dealing with.
Listen, they smooth on the tongue.
Yeah, and my thing is like if you're not really ready to go into a serious relationship, why are you dating in the first place?
At least be upfront about that.
Because people date for different reasons. People date for hookups. You have some men
for a place to stay in the winter.
If they know that you're not, they know that you're not out there like that. You know what I'm saying? I had a guy come up to me like about 3 weeks ago, said to me, he said, oh, he went to school with my ex-husband. He was like, oh, we all had a bet on who was going to be able to take you out first after your divorce. What?
Oh, wow.
Like, that's crazy. And then they still was pressing to the point, me and my ex got a good relationship. So I said, yo, such and such always pressing me. He said, no, but thank you for letting me know. Like, these people was like, these my boys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So men date for different reasons. Sometimes it's just conquering quest. Sometimes I want to see what he had.
I just date for a free meal. That's it. I'm just kidding. I am just totally kidding.
I do like to eat, but I'll pay for my own meal. I like to eat. Hey, I'll pay for my own meal. I
take my own meal, Zach.
Okay.
I was just being sarcastic.
Okay. Anybody else who didn't go?
Shaughnessy, did you go?
Closing comments for tonight. Let's leave the kings and the queens to the kings and queens, or chess. And I don't know. Closing comments. That's it, really. That's it. And don't hit nobody else's kids. That's the main one. Yes. Don't be hitting nobody else's kids. That's it.
All right.
I'm paying bills down to my roof. I'm hitting.
Herb gonna tap that ass. He gonna whoop that ass.
It's just like in the movie Fences. I'll be damned if somebody come up under my roof to eat my food and gonna be unruly and disrespectful. Hey, we ain't having that. That's why I say no. Say no.
My closing remark gonna be leave the checker pants to the checkerboard color to the checkerboard game.
You talk about me? Oh, you weren't saying that when you was commenting on my stuff, whatever.
I was trying to give you some encouragement.
Yeah, I ain't need no encouragement because I was comfortable in my stuff. I was comfortable.
You look like an old man. You got to change your stance. You got to change something. You look like an old man over there.
Wow.
You look like an old man.
Wow.
I'm gonna turn to Kevin Samuels for you and change your help you get your style changed up a little bit.
Actually, the checker pants is the in style now for men.
Thank you, Netta.
It was the way he was standing. The way he was standing was like old man stand. The old man stance.
She don't know. You don't even have no idea. Now I can roast you right now.
Whatever.
I can roast you right now, but I ain't gonna even do it.
I was coming for the smoke.
Yeah, you want to be roasted. You want to be roasted. But I ain't gonna even do it.
You not because you a king.
Yeah, I ain't gonna even do it. I ain't gonna even clown on no guys that on their gear that you talk.
You a king and you can't be roasted our queen.
Yeah, because you know.
Okay.
You know.
I forgot to tell you guys something. Today my grandma's officially 108. So
nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
For continued health. I'll be seeing her in a couple days this weekend. Yeah. Amazing.
What a milestone. Damn. That's great living.
I want to come talk to her. See what's up with her.
She's a witness. She'll tell you all day long.
She over there eating.
Whatever
So my closing comment.
I can't even finish watching this movie. I gotta go.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she got too much going on. We gonna get with you, Annette, because you got a lot going on. We gonna talk.
I'm about to stalk your Facebook. I'm gonna stalk your Facebook page. I'm gonna find your kids and I'm gonna tell them pull up right now.
Go use that key. Go use that key.
I thought the right was
Yeah, she got a lot going on. I don't know what's going on with that gentleman, where he at, what he doing, or whatever.
And why he missing off our panel this evening?
He's patiently waiting.
She is inferring on something. She keeps inferring.
He was in the chat tonight, so I'm gonna throw a lifeline. He was in the chat tonight.
He was in the chat, but he wasn't on camera. He wasn't on camera.
Inferring. She inferring.
He was not on camera.
No, I caught. No, it's not. This person's from out of town. Long.
Try to throw your lifeline. Get some back in the mix.
Prove it.
I told you. I don't have to prove it. All you gotta know is we never post pictures together.
She definitely choosing her inference skills. She trying to infer. Anyways.
Oh, wait a minute. She trying to say out of town. Out of town could just be another city.
Exactly.
Out of town means
800 miles. 800 miles.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely coming for you with that one.
We being petty. Sorry.
David, you need to give these closing comments so she could get to that man.
Yeah, all right, yeah, because he probably like, I wish he take control of that shit, whatever, so I could take care
He
of
about
that
to say, he
sleeve.
about to say, who they talking about?
Yeah.
And we don't even know who we talking about.
Now, my closing comments, I appreciate it all. And this is what drives me, just these conversations and us just building, having dialogue, and just getting to know each other. But because we all got different experiences and perspectives. And as far as last night, what I was basically saying is, one of the things was I was up for the YouTube channel, with Baltimore YouTube channel. And I find out after research, somebody let me know, like, this person don't even have a YouTube channel. Their YouTube channel was shut down. So as I go through it and put in her name, and I see all these people that did show like recordings, broadcasts on this individual, and I'm like, why we just can't do stuff correct? Why we can't have legitimate wins for people? And you have to have all that. But then I said to myself, this is just the American way. Even with politics and all that stuff, it's always some shadiness or whatever the case is going on. But that just kind of struck me like, wow, like I could have legitimately been the winner with my checker pants on, whatever. Could have legitimately won with my checker pants on and walked across the stage. But it was like, it's a lot of shady dealings that happens, whatever. And when you have these type of things, but it's all good. Lakia, next time you talk to somebody, if they want to know how to dress, tell them to hit me up, because I know. I seen your work. I seen your work, baby. I seen your work. I seen your work. Tell them to hit me up. Tell them to hit me up.
The pants were cute. They were cute. The pants were cute. The bow tie was cute. But you were standing like an old man. You got to change your stance. You got to change the stance.
It was you talking about the one picture with me and old girl?
No, just you by yourself in front of your door.
Okay.
That was his power stand.
Right. He always try to stand that. You gotta change up the stance. Now,
you want to get grilled so bad tonight, but I ain't gonna even go there with your ass. I ain't gonna even do it. You want it. You want it so bad, because that's the only. You like to go to bed at night with just hostility in your heart, but I ain't even gonna give it to you. I ain't gonna even give it to you.
You know I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I ain't gonna even give it to you. I appreciate y'all. Let's keep the conversations going, and send me your talking points, and we just gonna keep pushing forward. And
I'm gonna send y'all them text messages too.
What? Which one?
About.
Oh, with the kings and queens?
Yeah, it works for next week. We're following up on this subject. Never mind.
Okay. The platonic ones?
Yes, the platonic friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we want to hear about that, because you already said, Shaughnessy, I got platonic friends, whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got ignored. Yep.
You got ignored.
Yep. He skipped right past it. Act like it never even happened.
No, what you mean?
When I said that night that we were on the last Monday, I said something to him in reference to us dealing with each other. And because it was late at night, he didn't answer. And I think like the next morning, he was like, "Good morning, how are you?" He's like, "What was you doing last night?" It's like, "Nothing." And I'm trying to look for the text message. But yeah, long story short, he ignored everything. He ignored exactly what I said. I'm gonna take screenshots and I'm gonna post it. Oh.
So you saying, like, when we were saying that most guys don't want to be platonic, they want to sleep with the person, and you asked your friend something, and he ignored it?
He ignored it, completely ignored it, and then told me make sure I get breakfast. I think he thought I was drunk.
So are you confirming what we are saying might be possibly true?
No, I'm telling you that it's
not true. You don't think it's true. You being naive. He ignored it because
he ain't want to answer
that he is. That's where he's at. He didn't ignore it because he just ignored it and thought you was drunk. No, the hopes he was hoping you was drunk and you get drunk again and express.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, young shorty.
No,
Yeah.
he ignored it.
Yeah.
I'm a tag y'all when I post it in the
No,
group.
he ignored it because there is something there.
Yeah.
And if he was given the opportunity, if the table was,
You don't want to lie.
if the table was spreaded, he would have a feast at the table.
Right. You don't want to lie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Shaughnessy was like, "Oh, I can walk around naked," and I was like, "Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay."
keep thinking that.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I promise you.
keep us posted.
Hey, don't promise us. Just don't promise him.
I did
Don't slip. Don't let nothing slip up.
Honestly, I did the same little thing. I hit my male friends up after the show because I'm like, I want to know. And literally, all of them said, "Oh yeah, if it was given, I'm gonna do what I gotta do."
We do know this though. It ain't her sneak link, and her boyfriend will never find out because he ain't got GPS.
No, Herb gonna ride you on that one, Shaughnessy. You slipped up on that one. I don't know if it was a Freudian slip or whatever.
And he don't have no glove compartment.
See, I ain't gotta worry about a GPS. It's hard to do that on a bike.
Oh my gosh. You can GPS a bike too.
I didn't say you couldn't. I said it's hard to do.
No, it's not. Put the air tag right in the tire.
No, because mine is locked in the garage. You got to be able to get to my garage to get to my bike. Sorry, it ain't gonna happen.
I'm concerned why you know all of this.
Yeah, do you see how I'm looking? I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh no, I did
drop the air tag on somebody.
No, so I did actually have an air tag dropped on me, and I learned about air tags a couple of months ago.
See, this thing learn stuff that you don't know about.
Yeah, no, I had to actually this past week I had an incident with the unknown device following me, and I had to contact police. Yeah, like it's crazy.
It's a thing. That's a big thing right now.
Yep, it is a big thing. I think the air tag fell. I think the air tag was on my car. I think it fell off because it had stopped tracking me at a certain point. But it has started tracking me while I was in a location for a span of time, and like in the middle of that time, 2 hours after and about 3 hours before, it has started tracking me at that location. But
how did you know? How did you know?
Your iPhone will alert you.
So yeah, but this is the thing, and this is a problem with Apple. It does not alert you till too late. Now it told me when it stopped tracking me, which was a ways away from my household, but it didn't tell me that it stopped tracking me at this point until I was very close. I had to.
Yeah, it takes like 2 hours before it even will alert you.
Can you send me the icon or whatever that is?
I'm about to. Yeah, I'll definitely show you because it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's scary. Sure. It's very, 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 very scary. I was on complete edge, and because I actually didn't that night. I ended up going to, and then I felt like I had to be babysat. It was just really weird because my boyfriend was at work, so I didn't bring my car home because I wasn't sure. He checked the car. His coworker checked the car. The police checked the car. Nobody could find anything. They went back to where it said it stopped locating me. They couldn't find anything, but it was in the middle of the road. So I ended up swapping car. I just started driving my car again on Friday. Swapped my car. And then I had to go to my boyfriend's house with his cop ex-mother. Like I needed babysitting. So yeah, it's a lot, but I'm trying to see
the iPhone thing.
It's an AirTag thing, but if you have an iPhone, it will tell you that you're being followed. I thought I took screenshots.
What's it called? AirTag?
Yes, it's an air tag, and if you read it, read on it, they tell you, like, literally one part I can't say that Apple is done. They give you directions. It makes a sound. You can ping it. It makes a sound. They tell you how to disable it. They give the serial number so it could track the person that purchased it. But why do all of that? Because after that, I could be dead already. So it's like you want to find the person that committed the crime, but it was already done.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's wow.
Too much going on with these devices.
Yes, exactly. Yep. See, that's why I always share my location, because it's important to not go missing at any time.
We know this stuff is happening.
Okay, so here, let me see if I can. So this was the alert that I received. And it said it was first seen with me at 10:25. And I think I took that screenshot at 2:07 in the morning. So it has the location where it had the location where it first started tracking me, which was where I was, and then the location where it stopped. And it tells you the safety alerts, learn about the device, disconnected, and it tells you how to contact authorities and all this other stuff.
That's too
But what worried me about it was it would not let me disable the item. Like, it would not allow me to disable it under no circumstances.
Yeah, they're just getting too. It's
and
too
it's called
much.
air tagging.
Yeah, it's an air tag. It's a little. I think it's like $30. It's like a little coin looking thing.
Looks like $30 almost.
Yeah, but it's made to put in like your book bag, your laptop bag.
Luggage.
Right. That's what it's really made for.
That was what it was designed for, but people are using it to
stop people.
Traffic for human trafficking.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Oh my. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to have some more conversations about talking points
and safety, and yeah,
we definitely need to have more conversations to women about safety and different things like that.
Yeah, because I would like to think that I'm a safe person. Like, I got walked to my car. One of our male friends walked me to my car. He walked my friend to her car.
You start making sure when they walk you to your car,
you sure it wasn't your boo?
No, it wasn't him at all. No.
Make sure they start checking your vehicle too when they walking you to your car.
Right, exactly.
When I go to the cigar spot, the guys always like, "Can I walk you out?" And they always say to me, "Well, we know you got your stuff on you, but still let us walk you out." So they'll walk me out, but they'll check the back of my car, look inside, have open the back door. They always open the back door and check it, and then shut the door, then open the door for me.
And I always make fun of my boyfriend for that stuff, because I'm like, when he comes to my house, he always walks around my car, always, and pulls on all the doors. And I'm like, nobody wants me. Like, nobody's kidnapped. Nobody's hiding underneath my car. But, yeah, no.
I don't know why y'all women say that stuff. Like, oh, nobody wants me. Nobody wants me.
No, like, I meant, like, I get it. But, I just... Yeah, it was definitely crazy. But no, he would have no reason to do that at all. I actually ended up coming straight to him. So he was the one that was advocating for me to call the police. Because I was like, I'm going to just go to your house. And he was like, no, call the police right here, right now.
Gotta be safe.
And guess what? The police didn't take a report. They didn't do anything. They told me they can escort me home if I thought I heard something, felt nervous, or did any of that I can call them back out. But they did nothing. Not even look at my ID.
So one of y'all need to book that, or I need to write it down, like safety and dating and all that stuff, whatever, as a talk.
I will definitely.
All right, gang, we're gonna get out of here. I appreciate everybody who tuned in and watched us, and everybody have a good night. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your week, and understand this also. COVID's still out there, but they about to they unlifting these mask things. As tomorrow, we don't have to wear masks to school or whatever the case. I'm still gonna have my mask on, but it's about to get crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen with all this.
I haven't been wearing mine. I'm gonna be honest. I'm tired.
Kids got to wear it on the bus. They get supposed to wear and wear it in the nurse's office or whatever the case. But it's going. They're gonna be in heaven tomorrow. They ain't
gonna know where them things are.
Exactly. So I'm gonna still have me some mask on, and I'm gonna walk in the halls with my mask on. And once it get hot, I'll be like, okay, this is getting real annoying. Glasses fog up, sweating, whatever. But we'll see how this gonna pan out.
You gotta get you some anti-fog. Good night, y'all.
Some of that spray and all
Good
that.
night,
Everybody, good night. Y'all be safe.
Good night.
Talk to y'all soon. All right.
See you. Good night.
Good night.
Au revoir.